me now? You can hear me now, huge. I don't know. Something in me, something sensed there was going to be no audio then. I don't know why. I started speaking like, I bet there's no audio. My cable wasn't plugged in. I don't know how I sensed that. But anyway, welcome everybody. Hope you're all well. I need to slow my speaking down a little bit. Overexcited, clearly. Today we're doing a bit more of a Monday debrief, actually. This is something we used to do before. It involves real life F1 as well. Because there's a lot to go through from the Monaco Grand Prix, mainly the Stewards inquiries, all the various ones from that. We're going to talk through that first, and then of course we're going to get into the Creator Series Clipbook. So a lot and lots to speak about today. And if we maybe bring back the Monday debrief a bit more, I might start streaming on the main channel, because obviously we're streaming on the gaming channel right now, which is a bit weird for real life F1. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But hello guys, welcome in. Hope you're good. Hey Scott. Hey Tim. Hey Avengers. Hey Mayday. Hey Ewan. Hey Bolds. Hey Mateo. Hey Jamsey. Hey Carl. Hey Goldie's Big Butt. Hey Scott. I think I already said hello to Scott. Hey Ace. Hey Elliot. Hey Marius, hey Mateo, welcome guys, hope you're all good. Time to review the buggiest game of all time. Yeah, true, to be fair. Ready for the Ben Glazing? There's going to be Ben Glazing is there. Scott, thank you very much for the Prime sub, 37 months subscribed, over 3 years now. Absolutely beautiful, thank you Scott, thank you so much. Right, let's crack on guys, straight away. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort out my apps here. Hold on, there we go, right. So, the first thing I want to do is go for real life F1. Now, of course, the major thing was the pit lane speeding, right? The pit lane speeding was the big one. There was an FIA issue. Make no mistake about it. Now, what happened is, in the rules, it says, wait.
Ashley_W94_ just subscribed on Twitch.
Thank you, Ashley, for the tier 1. 24 months as well. It's worth the wait. Thank you very much, Ashley, for the 2 years. I normally have the camera this side, so it looks like I'm looking at chat, and there would normally be my camera, but this side's much prettier, so yeah, anyway, we're rolling with it. So yeah, the pit lane speed limiting. So basically, the FIA did mess up a bit in the Monaco Grand Prix because the rules say the speed limit is 80 kilometers an hour. That's it, right? It doesn't say as measured by etc, etc. The rules say you can go no faster than 80 kilometers an hour in the pit lane unless altered by the race director's notes. The race director's notes say at Monaco the limit is 60 kilometers an hour. That's it. Now, apparently the drivers were warned that there might be some issues with the pit lane speed limit in Monaco and warned of potentially how to go around this. But make no mistake about it, the drivers that were penalised did not break the rules. And I don't mince my words when I say that. All of them had the pit limiter on for the entire thing. Gasly came out and said his pit limiter is set to 59.5 kilometres an hour. So 0.5 kilometres an hour as a bit of margin, and he went over by 0.1 kilometres an hour. Most of them went over by 0.1 kilometres an hour, according to the FIA. Now, the issue comes with how they measure it.
Subscribed on Twitch.
Thank you, Simon, for the Prime sub. 35 months subscribed, almost 3 years, almost there. Thank you, Simon. So the issue comes with how they measure it. It's measured by average speed in the pit lane, which I didn't know until this weekend. They have actual sensors in the track, within the pit lane, in the tarmac. And they sense the cars going over it, and they take an average speed limit. So they say when you enter a few places through the pit lane and when you exit, what was your average speed? If it's below 60, you're all good. Which, of course, is strange because, technically speaking, you could do 80k, and as long as you do 40k for the same amount of time you did 80k, your average is 60k. So that's a bit odd. I don't know if they've got maybe extra measures to measure top speed. But anyway, and basically that's what was going wrong. So they basically had it tuned as if the cars were going to go perfectly into the fast lane. But because they've added Cadillac this year, they had to squeeze all the garages in, which meant that the barriers they normally have, which forced the drivers to go out into the fast lane, were withdrawn a little bit. So they could cut the corner a little bit. Now, I know what you're thinking, oh yeah, but they cut the corner. But there's nothing against that. Of course there's not. You don't have to stay in the fast lane, in the pit lane. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to pull into your pit box. We see drivers cutting taking the more direct route in the pit lane all the time. It is not dangerous. It is commonplace. And normally it happens at Monaco every year. But this year, because they pulled the barriers back a little bit, it allowed them to do it a little bit more. And then they fell foul of the measurement, not the rule, the measurement. Let me just show you this to absolutely illustrate my point here. How do I full screen? Okay. This is Lewis Hamilton. This is Lewis Hamilton cutting the line, right? Clearly is cutting. He got a 5-second penalty for this. He also cuts the exit, which I'll show you in a second. This is Charles Leclerc, also cutting the line. I mean, there's not much in that. Yes, Hamilton does cut it a bit more. But you're not telling me that what Leclerc did is completely fine and what Hamilton did is completely naughty. Nobody can say that. That's absolutely ridiculous. It's a very slightly bigger cut that Hamilton did on the pit entry. The pit exit, though, this is Hamilton's line. And this is Leclerc's line. Leclerc cut the exit more than Hamilton. Leclerc did not get a penalty. Hamilton did get a penalty. Hamilton, Leclerc. Hamilton, Leclerc. So do you see the absurdity of this now? It's not like Hamilton has massively cut, almost grazing this barrier, all four wheels out of the fast lane, really taking the nick, and Leclerc's gone perfectly round. And if that was the case, I think we could say things differently. As it is, it's very minor here and very minor the other way here. And again, let me be absolutely clear. The rules say the speed limit is 60 kph. It doesn't say as measured by the FIA. It doesn't say we'll take an average. It doesn't say any of that. Obviously, the FIA decided to measure it like that. To me, it's absolutely insane that the FIA upheld these penalties. Now, I get it from the steward's point of view, right? They get the data they get. They see someone sped. The rules are the rules. They get a 5-second penalty, end of. Once they've given a couple, they're probably like, there might be an issue here. But at that point, they'd already issued a few penalties. So, and FIA isn't run by one person who can just go, right, cancel penalties. The stewards obviously don't have the mechanism to easily cancel penalties during the race, especially as some of them may have been taken. I actually don't think they had by the time the third or fourth penalty came rolling in, but still. So it's a really, really weird situation that drivers didn't actually break the letter of the rule. And you're talking about just the tiniest of margins, and yet were penalised. Very, 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 very strange. Very, very strange in the Monaco Grand Prix. Gasly's right to be upset. Hamilton, it didn't affect him in the end. I think it affected, well, of course, heavily affected George Russell. We'll get onto him in a second. But yeah, really, really weird. What do you guys think about that? That's dumb. Yeah, I agree. It's like the average speed cameras on motorway. Yeah, basically. Basically. If you were warned this could be an issue, then doing it a fraction of a millisecond is just dumb. I don't think it's right of the FIA to discover an issue and then just tell the driver to drive around it. Do you? I mean, just talk about that a bit further. Let's say the FIA discovered, our measurement of track limits on this corner is a bit wrong. So drivers, if you could leave a few extra centimetres on that corner, yeah, that'd be good. If you don't, and even if technically you do a legal corner, if you don't leave an extra few centimetres, we'll give you a penalty. That's not fair. That's not right. If the measurement is wrong, the FIA needs to change the measurement. People did not break the rules. I don't know. I find it absolutely absurd. I find it absurd. Yeah, exactly. You can't cancel penalties, but it's just a very strange situation. The fact that FIA apparently knew about it and then did nothing other than warn the drivers is ridiculous. Yeah, most were only 0.1 over. 0.1 of a kilometre an hour. Which, look, rules are rules. If they sped by 0.1, fair enough. But they didn't speed by 0.1. They measured it as sped by 0.1, but they didn't speed by 0.1. It was the measurement that was wrong, not the speed, not the drivers. Hey, Mark, welcome in. So very, very strange. Because it was obvious to everybody, wasn't it? Martin Brundle was saying through the race, there's clearly something's changed. We shouldn't be getting this many speedings. Very, very weird. And again, to be absolutely clear, from what I've seen, all the drivers enabled the pit limiter way before they got into the pit lane. Their cars didn't actually go over 60 kilometers an hour at any point, and yet they were caught for speeding. Can you imagine that on the road? Can you imagine that on the road? 30 mile an hour speed limit on the road. You do your car's indicated 30 miles an hour. Even if you know that your car measures exactly perfectly, which is actually not legally allowed to do. It's not allowed to overread in the UK, or underread in the UK. Sorry. So and the EU. But anyway, let's just say your car reaches 30 miles an hour, and that is the actual absolute speed they're doing for argument's sake. And you're in a 30 mile an hour zone. And then the police send you a letter and say you're doing 31 miles an hour, mate. And you never actually sped. You never sped. What's your reaction? Do you appeal it and go, well, I didn't speed? And I've got absolute proof, as the F1 teams do with telemetry. I've got absolute proof that I did not speed. Or do you just go, oh, okay, cool, I'll pay the fine? Why would you do that? No. Whatever caught you speeding in that circumstance, an incorrectly configured speed camera or something weird like that, that's what's wrong, not you. It's really odd. The safety car sped as well. Oh my god, I really hope that's true. What if there's no way of measuring? They can't just cancel all penalties. They can't verify another way. Well, telemetry, they have. They quite simply have got other ways of measuring. They have GPS speed. I'm sure they have calibrated car wheel speed and things like that. Or, use common sense. Just say, well, look, there's clearly some sort of issue. We're going to allow a 0.2 kilometers an hour in the pit lane for this one event. Because there's clearly some issue with our systems. Obviously, if someone's doing 65k in the pits, that's an actual advantage. But if someone's doing 60.1 kilometers an hour in the pits, I'm sorry, that's not an advantage. That's just not. But if it's configured correctly, speeding, 60.1, that's a penalty. But when it's not configured correctly, that's when it's an issue. Very strange. Give all the future speed penalties to Ocon, everyone's happy. Yeah, true. But anyway, we're moving on. We need to keep it moving today because we haven't got too long. Well, we have got long, but we've got a lot to go through. But yeah, so really strange on that. So to add to that, George Russell, he was obviously caught speeding, but then also didn't serve his penalty. Now, there's not too much to say on this. He quite clearly didn't serve it. His team literally said on the radio, don't go into the pits. Well, he had to go through the pits because of the safety car told him to. But his team told him, don't stop. And he then hesitated, waited. And then once Antonelli pulled off, he decided to pit anyway. And it's because he saw his tyres out. But obviously the team got his tyres out just in case this happened. Because they're a smart team. But the team told him, don't pit. Don't come in. Don't. We don't want you into the pit lane. Or into the pit box. The reason is, he just got a lap down. So if he went past Antonelli, he would no longer be a lap down. So hopefully, the safety car would let him go. So he would be able to then go get his lap back and then take the pit stop afterwards, after he got his lap back. That's why the Mercedes were doing it. It was actually a better strategy to not pit quite rarely under the safety car, not pit straight away, so that he could unlap himself first. Because they could see he was only a couple seconds behind Antonelli. Antonelli's going to pit. He can come past in the pit lane, get his lap back, while Antonelli's stuck behind the safety car, holding everybody up. George Russell can keep going round, get more than enough gap to take a free pit stop, and then be completely fine. But George decided to come into the pits. It was George's fault. But then obviously the team perhaps should have been more aware that he needed his penalty, but you can understand from the team's point of view, although they've got the tyres there just in case, they're not actually expecting him to stop. And obviously you're trying to double stack. It's kind of like, you just done a car, you go, quit another car, let's do it. And by the time a single person's touched the car, the penalty isn't taken, and you may as well do the pit stop. And also, the penalty he got as a subsequence to that, a drive-through penalty, is correct, purely because you can't have teams accidentally not taking a penalty that they're supposed to take. The rules say if you get a 5-second penalty, you have to take it at the first opportunity in the pit lane or at the end of the race if you don't pit. The reason that exists is because otherwise, George, especially someone like Monaco, George could calculate, or Mercedes team could calculate, if he takes a penalty now, he's going to drop behind somebody. But I reckon if we leave it a bit, he can get enough gap that he won't drop behind that person. So it's tactical. It's not right. He's been given a penalty for a reason. He's supposed to take it immediately. You shouldn't be able to just delay it. So he was given a drive-through. It's completely fair punishment. Not really too much more to say on that one, honestly. But yeah, Mercedes were being smart. George was the one that made the mistake, and a weekend of fumbles from George, to be honest. He had no pace, did he? No pace at all. You guys have much more to add to that? I felt like that was a pretty open and shut case, to be honest. The marbles in the final corner, yeah. We weren't going to, but it's a fair point. We'll pick that up in a second. Let's have some reaction first to the George stuff. The George bottled it, but the team kind of played a role in it. Yeah, basically. George made the mistake coming in when the team told him not to, but the team still should have taken the penalty first, but you can understand the confusion for the teams then when he wasn't supposed to pit. I'd say 70% blame on George, 30 on the team. So someone say Tsunoda got a 10. So Tsunoda got a 10-second penalty. The thing is, though, at Monaco, it's I think it's right that it's a bit harsher because it's a big advantage potentially to not take the penalty straight away at Monaco. Look at George last year doing a purposeful legal overtake. Normally that would just be a 5-second penalty or something. Because it's Monaco, he got a drive through because it's a massive advantage to do it. So maybe that would be why. So I honestly think that a drive through is fair for Monaco for what he did. Yeah, I'm surprised. So George had to serve his drive through within 3 racing laps. That is the rule. So I think Crofty at one point said, when's he going to take it, whatever. When you get a drive-through, it's not like a normal penalty where you take it at your leisure, take it at the next pit stop. Drive-through has to be within 3 racing laps. So you can't take it under safety car. So we had to wait till the safety car came in, do 3 racing laps, and then take it. That being said, I feel like he did take it on his second lap. That must be a mistake because there's no way at Monaco you would take it early. I don't know why George was purposely driving slow, though, in turn 1 on the safety car restart. That was some sort of tactic from George or the team, which was a strange one, and then bolted. I don't really understand why he did that, but he did. That was an interesting one. Let's go, Nix. You wanted to push into clean air? Yeah, but like it's not like if you thought the cars in front might go slowly or were slower than you, then that makes sense by backing up. But the cars in front of him were quick, so yeah, a bit odd. Yeah, I thought caused a mess behind, but that's definitely dodgy tactics in real life. But yeah, anyway, right, moving on. Yeah, you're right. Let's cover the what was it someone said a second ago? I've already forgotten. How have I already forgotten? My memory's so bad. Oh, the marbles. Yeah. So the two crashes we saw in the final corner. So obviously the tarmac was breaking up, which isn't good, right? That's really quite bad actually, and it was causing big chunks of tarmac on the track. They looked like marbles. We had Lance Stroll crash out in that corner and Charles Leclerc crash out in that corner. Look, I don't really understand why I know more than the commentators on this, and it genuinely might be the F1 game and the fact that I sim race. But the commentators, both Crofty and Brundle, didn't pick this up correctly. So yes, the tarmac didn't help the situation, right? It didn't help the situation. But it was clear to me straight away that that wasn't what caused the crash. It looked to me like both cars just weren't slowing down. Lance Stroll said afterwards that, the tarmac didn't do much. Leclerc said afterwards he had 3 out of 4 brake failures, right? Basically, what's actually happening, and I'm they don't talk about this too much, but I'm 90% sure that this is what's happening, is in 2026, right, you have a massive motor that harvests only on the rear axle. So what happens is when you're off the throttle, you've basically got a massive amount of engine braking happening. However, when the battery is full, that engine braking does not happen because the motor can't work. The battery's full. It's got nowhere for that power to go, so it can't work. Now, obviously, this isn't normally an issue because the batteries are almost never full. It's inefficient to have it to be full. However, at that final corner, and if you watch a lot of racing or you play the F1 game, you know that before that final corner, there's a lot of corners, there's lots of braking points, lots of partial throttle zones, and very little full throttle zones, especially under a safety car. So every single lap, naturally, they would exit that final corner with almost a full charge. So it wouldn't take much to go wrong to accidentally deploy a bit less or harvest a bit too much and accidentally end up with a completely charged battery going into that final corner. And if your battery's completely charged, the rear axle just doesn't brake like it should do. And I'm not just talking about the brake pedal. I'm also talking about when you're on none of the pedals and you're coasting because the engine braking is massively reduced. So Lance Stroll talked about push on the rear axle, which is the same thing. He's talking about lack of engine braking there. Normally, especially if it's only the rear wheels, not only is it physically slowing your car down via engine braking, but it's also got a bit of a handbrake effect when you're going around a corner. And again, if you play the F1 game, you know this. If you use a more rearward brake bias, the car turns into the corner much nicer because you got the rear tyres much more on a limit, and it creates that slight handbrake effect into the corner. So when you lose that completely, the car pushes. It feels like it's literally pushing you into the corner. Imagine somebody literally pushing you into the corner, just trying to turn in. You get pushed into the barrier. That's what it feels like to the drivers. So that's what happened to Lance Stroll. And yes, the tarmac didn't help, but I don't think that was the main thing. And the same for Leclerc. Now, Leclerc talked about 3 out of 4 brakes. As it was a safety car, my guesstimation would be there that one of the brakes was a bit cold. And based on his very cryptic wording afterwards, despite the fact that Ferrari is sponsored by Brembo, my guess would be that Lewis Hamilton uses carbon industry brakes, and this is getting really technical now. Lewis Hamilton uses carbon industry brakes, which he always preferred. As soon as he went to Ferrari, he said he didn't like the brakes. I think what they've done, possibly for 2026, and maybe that's why Hamilton's doing better, is they've used carbon industry discs for Hamilton, but still Brembo calipers and pads, so that they can still say, Brembo on the rotors, on the calipers and stuff, and still be sponsored by them and still use Brembo equipment. But Hamilton's gone to Carbon Industries because Leclerc talked about minor differences and that he's going to go more Hamilton's way, which has got other drawbacks. And it might be, and look, this is a complete stab in the dark. It might be that the Brembo discs have a higher working window, so they can get hotter while still working, whereas the Carbon Industries don't work quite so well at this peak end, but they don't get cold so easy. So it's somewhere like Monaco under a safety car. The Carbon Industry brakes were able to stay 100 degrees Celsius warmer maybe than the Brembo brake discs were. Look, obviously they don't talk about this stuff too much in public, but that's my guesstimation of what happened with one of his front brakes. He talked about one of his front brakes not really working very well. But for the rear brakes, it would be exactly the same as what I just talked about there with Lance Stroll. He would have fully charged his battery as a safety car restart. He wanted a high level of charge for restart. He overdid it slightly. Fully charged battery. He didn't have the handbrake effect on the rear axle, and it pushed him on again. Not helped by the tarmac, but not decided by the tarmac. That would be my best guesstimation of what's going on there. So really technical, but this is the stuff I love in F1. And it's a shame they don't talk about it more, because obviously all this stuff, if what I've said there is completely true, Ferrari don't want to talk about using Carbon Industry brakes because they're sponsored by Brembo. They also don't want to talk about the inner workings of exactly which brake disc they're doing, especially if it's different between the cars. They don't want to talk about that. They also don't want to talk about the shortcomings of their power unit and the fact that they messed up the recharge or the engine wasn't clever enough to manage the charge level correctly. They don't want to talk about that either. So, Leclerc was angry after the race and said some things that he wouldn't normally say, like, I'm going to go Hamilton's way, he's running things differently, and, that 3 of the 4 brakes weren't working, etc., and that it's not my fault. But to me, all of that adds up to exactly what I said there. But again, take it with a pinch of salt, because, it's not like I've got someone in the team that's telling me this exact info. But putting all the pieces together, that's what adds up to me. Does that make sense, chat? This stands spot on. I charge my electric car to 100% sometimes, doesn't engine brake for the first kilometre. It's scary. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have the same. In my electric car. And more here about the battery and brakes than F1 Tech Talk. Oh yeah, Red Bull Best Engine. We will cover that, actually. Well, I'll add it to my list. We will cover that. That's a really good point. Yeah, we will cover that, absolutely. Someone always blames himself, so it must have gone seriously wrong for Leclerc to not take any blame. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Right, anyway, that's enough. Move on. So, next thing we're going to talk about with real life F1 is the safety car. So, we had 2 people under investigation during the Monaco Grand Prix under the safety car. One was Lewis Hamilton, one was Isaac Hadjar. Hadjar, by the way. Crofty started saying Hadjar mid-race, even though he normally says Hadjar. It's not Hadjar the Badger. It's Hadjar. So, there's a rule in F1 that says that on formation laps and under safety cars, you are not allowed to go more than 10 car lengths from the car in front. It's been in F1 for a very long time. And this rule is ignored en masse. So much so that in the Canadian Grand Prix last year, F1 actually put not a statement, but you know what I mean? Like, technically the rules are the same. They put out like a clarification to the stewards and the teams to basically say that, we understand that you need to keep your tyres and brakes warm. So, we're a bit flexible with this. Which is obviously utterly bonkers, because the rule is 10 car lengths. That is the rule. And it hasn't changed. And yet, and I'm not exaggerating here, every single driver breaks this rule under every single safety car. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not remotely exaggerating. 10 car lengths in F1, right? An F1 car is 5.4 metres long, roughly. Varies a little bit car to car. So 10 car lengths is 54 metres, which is nothing. And the best way to measure that is with the braking boards, right? We get braking boards every 50 metres. So it's about the distance between a 50 or 100 or 100 to 150 braking board, which is nothing at all. It's nothing at all. Yes, Lewis Hamilton did drop back quite a lot. But look, Lewis Hamilton is too experienced. This won't be the first time he's dropped back that far. He's never got a penalty for it before. And he isn't the only one. Every single other driver will have dropped back too far. And yes, Hadjar did it as well. And George Russell moaned about it on the radio. I 100% guarantee you that George Russell also dropped back more than 10 car lengths during every single safety car period in the race, because it's impossible not to. It's a rule that's just not fit for modern F1, where the cars are vastly faster than the safety car. They have to try and get their tyres up to temperature. They have to, which is basically mainly happens in high-speed corners. So they have to drop back so they can build up some speed and get their tyres warm. It's a rule that should just be deleted. I don't know why the FIA is keeping it, but it does exist. But it would be utter insanity if they decided to punish one person, anyone, for breaking this rule, because the rule is not for fit. It just isn't fit for purpose by modern days and is broken on every single race. Check this out. This is an overhead shot during the safety car period on lap 63 of 78. So obviously these guys down here, because they're in such slow corners, are well within 10 car lengths. If you look up here though, this guy to, I actually think there's a car there, but that is still, you can tell because we've got overhead and you can clearly see the length of the cars. That length there, times that by 10, is more than that car. This car is breaking the rule. This car, breaking the rule. This car, I don't even know where he is. I don't even know where he is. There may be a car somewhere. I'm not even too sure. But this is just one clip I found. There was many other shots I got where they were more than 10 car lengths. It happens all the time. All the time. So I'm glad Hamilton or Hadjar didn't get a penalty for this, because it would be utter insanity that they've chosen just two people that were breaking the rule by a bit more than they like the rule to be broken by. Like, what? You can't, that doesn't make any sense, especially in F1 terms. So yeah, insane. They need to get rid of the rule. I'm very glad he didn't get a penalty. It is absolutely redundant, yeah. I guess there it says in case someone really takes the mick. Yeah, but again, you can't, oh, you know, these other people broke the rule, but we don't mind them then doing it because they only did it a little bit. You broke the rule, you broke it by too much. You're right though, they should change the rule to be something like that. You know, you're not allowed to drop back excessively under a safety car, and it's up to the stewards at the time to define what is excessive. For example, if you drop back by 20 seconds because your teammate's about to take a pit stop, that's obviously excessive, fair enough. If you drop back by a few seconds and by 30 car lengths to warm your tyres up, that's fine because everyone else is doing the same thing. Like, it should be better, but it's just not. Weird. I actually haven't looked at the exact wording of the rule, but as far as aware, it is just 10 car lengths. But I can have a quick look for you. Hang on. Get the rules up real quick. I've actually looked at them quite a bit this year, so I'm quite well rehearsed with them. Here we go. The sporting can't find it by doing a find on the sheet. I didn't even find the word length. There we go. Here we go.
Ricardog 8992 just subscribed on Twitch.
Is it Ricardog? I thought it's Ricardo G. I quite like Ricardog though. Ricardog. Thank you for the prime sub. 31 subscribe. Beautiful. Yada 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 yada. No more than the maximum level 10 car lengths apart.
F1 Wilco just subscribed on Twitch.
Maybe increase to 20 in poor visibility. Obviously, we didn't have poor visibility at Monaco. And in such case, it says low visibility. That didn't happen. What else have we got here? No, the maximum now 10 car lengths apart. Yeah, that's it. So there's no mitigating circumstances here. 10 car lengths, no mitigating circumstances. Yeah, race director, low visibility message again, same thing as before. Yeah, there's no mitigating circumstances anyway here. It's just a straight 10 car lengths, which is just, yeah, it just needs removing. It's simple. You know, it's one of those weird, I don't really know why it still exists, but it's fine because they all just ignore it and whatever. It should be removed, but it's not, whatever, it's there. It's just, it would just be insane if they penalise somebody, so I'm glad it didn't. Wilco, thank you for the tier 1 sub, 39 months subscribe, just says boom. Simple, boom, boom. Have this sub, boom. Right, let's, it's Ricardo G? No, it's Ricardog now. Sorry, it's Ricardog. That's it, you've been renamed. Moving on to the Hadjar red flag incident before we move on to Perez's false starts and the Adjuo procedure. So, Hadjar was quite lucky, actually, to be completely honest with you. He was quite lucky to get away without a penalty because under the red flag, his team started taking his car apart, which they're allowed to do up to a point in the red flag. They're allowed to make some minor changes, but I believe it's only crash damage they're allowed to change. Obviously, he was moaning all race about having engine issues. So basically, the team whipped off the engine cover and started changing the spark plugs. The FIA came over and went, whoa, 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 what are you doing? You're not allowed to do that. And they went, oh, we're not? All right, we'll put it back. They put it back. Whether they actually changed the spark plugs and then changed them back or not, or whether all they did was whip the engine cover off and put that back on, I don't know. But yes, they put it back and they got away with it. If they changed the spark plugs, they would have been disqualified. So, yeah, quite lucky, to be honest, that Hadjar got told on his podium.
Just became a member on YouTube.
Thank you, One Lung.
Hello, Alex. Sorry for Saturday. Deserved more.
Oh, I'm not upset. P2, I can't complain at P2. Oh, I'm happy, but glad you enjoyed the race, One Lung. Thank you for the 23 months membership on YouTube. By far, the most the longest membership on YouTube. Thank you very much. But yeah, so lucky is all I'll say of Hadjar and Red Bull. Lucky to get away with that one, but he did. We'd like to change similar parts. I think you used to be able to. I think they've changed it. To be honest, I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% on this, but I believe they've changed it. But anyway, regardless, they weren't allowed to change the spark plugs. The FIA told them they weren't. So the fact that they almost did, and then put it back, and then didn't get a penalty, that they were somewhat lucky. But what I will say is, mistakes happen. Like, I know F1 is a very regulation-focused sport, and I get that. So we shouldn't forgive all mistakes, but like, they put it back together. It was exactly the same afterwards. He clearly still had engine issues, so like, who cares? Do you know what I mean? Like, they almost did some wrong. They actually put it back and ended up not doing anything wrong. That's it. So lucky, but I think it was a fair outcome, honestly. Next up, we're going to talk about Perez's false start. So Perez's I mean, I'm gutted for him, to be honest. Even though it's his fault, I'm gutted for him. This is where he was supposed to start, the first start, right? The actual race start. This is where he's supposed to start, and this is where he did start. I can't remember who it was. Someone in front of him wasn't in the pit box, or in the grid box, sorry. And he just went one too far forward. It's one thing being slightly outside your grid box. It's another thing going an entire grid slot forward, an entire row forward. Slam dunk penalty. Took a drive through. It was a drive through because they deemed that actually at Monaco that's quite a big advantage. So they give him a drive through, open and shut case, nothing more to say. The second one though was actually all just Perez. So in F1 they put these massive yellow lines out of the side of the grid box, and the reason being is the F1 cars can't really see very much out of the cockpit. So basically they put these really long outstretching yellow lines so that they can just about see the yellow line. And the idea is if they line up their wheel with the yellow line, just like whoever the Aston Martin is in front, probably Alonso. As you can see, they're clearly within the grid box. Now, they can actually go further than this. That isn't the rule. The rule is that no part of their car is allowed to touch the track outside of the grid box. So in other words, if you go a little bit too far forward or sideways and a bit of your tyre is touching outside the grid box, I believe it's fine to be on the grid box but not outside of the grid box, you get a penalty. So obviously, as you can see by Alonso here and here, the yellow line doesn't go all the way up to the front of the grid box. You can actually go quite a bit further forward, maybe 30 centimetres further forward than the yellow line. But obviously, I mean, look where Perez is here. Look where he is here. Actually, you can't actually see this. Hold on, there you go. There's the yellow line. I think this is his grid box here. I'm not 100% on that. Actually, that's a number, isn't it? That's the number here. But that is at the front of his grid box. That's just way too far. And obviously, because he's at a slight angle, which means that this tyre is even more outside than this tyre. So again, it's just a poor judgment by Perez. It's a real shame because he almost scored Cadillac's first ever points. That'd have been amazing to do at such an early time in the team's history. But again, just a bit of a slam dunk one. He was outside his grid box. 5-second penalty. Was it 10? Whatever it was. Got him outside the points. I think it was a 10 actually. But yeah, again, open and shut one really. He was outside his grid box, and that's it. Nothing more need to be said. I have covered Carbon Industries versus Brembo, yeah, I have. Anyway, one final point. Yes, one final point then is to talk about the. In fact, I'm going to give a shout out to Formula Data Analysis, who I mainly follow on Instagram, because they produce some great graphics. They do some great analysis. But basically, they've just produced this graphic here for the Aduo. And basically, quite incredibly, Red Bull have been deemed to have the most powerful engine. Combustion. This is purely combustion engine. So the Aduo is the additional development upgrade opportunities is what it stands for. And basically, I don't really understand why, but the FAA decided to set locked engines at the start of 2026. It's the first time it's happened at the start of a new era, and literally as soon as you homologate your engine at the start of the season, it was locked in, unless you're more than 2% behind, and then you get some of these additional upgrades. But it's just combustion engine because the ERS systems are identical. You make an electric boat motor, it produces 350 kilowatts, and that's it. You can obviously deploy it differently. You can be smart within that, but the actual power is set from everyone can produce a perfect 350 kilowatt motor. So Mercedes, quite incredibly, are going to get an upgrade. Red Bull have got the best engine. Mercedes are going to get one extra upgrade because they're more than 2% behind. Both Ferrari and Audi are going to get 2 extra upgrades because they're more than 4% behind. As you can see here, and then of course Honda are absolutely miles behind. They are. I don't know if I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but it's looking like there's more than 6% behind. It might be more than that. What I'm interested in here is, I believe that Mercedes have been sandbagging in order to get this upgrade, and this is the problem. This is the problem with this system, is that it's political. If I'm Mercedes and I come out with the best car and I'm winning every single race, if you give me Antonelli, do I need those extra few horsepower? Absolutely not. And okay, Alpine and McLaren and Williams probably could do with the extra few horsepower, but it would make sense for me as Mercedes, with knowing I'm the best, both in car and engine, to nerf my engine by 2%, still win all those races, and get an upgrade. It just makes sense. So we will see what happens from here. I believe Mercedes have been nerfing their engine. I believe in Monaco, in practice, they had their engine turned down, and then in qualifying they turned it back up, which is why Antonelli suddenly took pole, whereas Ferrari didn't gain anything in the straights. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, but look, at least Ferrari and Audi, in the same category as Ferrari, which is strange, are getting more upgrades than Mercedes, so theoretically that's an advantage. But I think we could all agree that even if you're a Mercedes fan, the sport this should be more interested if Mercedes didn't get any upgrades, and the likes of Ferrari did. So it's a bit disappointing. I believe there's going to be another analysis after another 5 or 6 races. And there might be another upgrade. They can introduce it at any time, I believe. So if they've got an upgrade ready to go that's going to give them more power, maybe they'll introduce it from the next race in Barcelona. We'll see. But yeah, bit strange. It could be that Mercedes are sandbagging. Red Bull, in their difficult competitive position, basically couldn't afford to sandbag. So they turned up their engine to the max, which is probably where Mercedes should be as well. And then Mercedes turned theirs down to get the 2%. Very strange. Very strange. I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong. Mercedes could have run in full power, and that could have been genuinely for them far behind. But do we really believe that Mercedes, who've had the best engine for a very long time in F1, even in the V8 era, have built a worse engine than Red Bull built in their very first engine? Now, I don't want to take anything away from Red Bull, because they genuinely have built a very impressive engine. I know they were helped a bit by Ford, but do we really believe that new Red Bull team has built better engines than Mercedes? And Red Bull took a lot of staff off Mercedes, but still, come on, do we? It was already impressive they were level, but do we believe that Mercedes 2% behind? I think probably not. But again, this is speculation. I don't know. When did the FIA measure the engines? They purposely cage about it. Nobody knows. Nobody knows exactly how, but it is combustion engine only, and it's averaged across all the races, all the engines. But they're purposely cagey about the exact measurements they take. Merc Strength was a hybrid. Yeah, don't get me wrong, they have got the best hybrid. But having a more powerful engine helps your hybrid a lot. And I've learned this from the F1 game, because in my career mode where I've been doing some engine power upgrades, it's massively helped my ERS charge. Because of the way the power down ramping works at high speed. It allows you to get to high speed earlier and easier, which means you're then limited by ERS deployment. Yeah, it's a weird one. think the Merc advantage is how well the power curve works with the engine, with the electric motor. Yeah, interesting point. Surely the FIA would know that sandbags are that possible. Yeah, they do, but the rules say that we measure it every 5 races and we look at combustion power only and we average it out across all your teams and across all the races. And that's it. Like, if they're sandbagging, so be it. You know what I mean? There's nothing against that. Why is Agile only a thing for the ICE? Because that's the only thing really, because they can still change the software. It's only the hardware that's homologated. So Mercedes' advantage in the electrical power basically is all software, basically. And other teams have caught up a lot, just like other teams have caught up to Ferrari on the starts. Like, F1 teams optimize all the time. So other teams have caught up a lot. So that's basically why is that because the electrical components are set anyway. Your battery has to be 4 megajoules. Your electrical motor has to be 350 kilowatts. All that stuff's set. So the hardware, you can't. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure they changed some things about the hardware, but that's it. Whereas your engine, if you're able to change things slightly within your engine, like your combustion ratio, then that might give you an extra couple of horsepower. But that's not how electrical motors work. You could probably make it a bit lighter and things like that. Don't get me wrong, but like. Every team is getting 350 kilowatts of power from their electrical motor, but not the combustion engine. Aston Martin going to dominate the rest of the season. I like Aiden. I'll take your word for it. Ideally, the FIA get the engine on their dyno and run an objective test. Yeah, but what if they detuned it for the dyno? And that, Tom, is exactly why they don't just do that, because just like Volkswagen did a few years ago about emissions, you go, here, FIA, here's our engine. Here's our engine. We've detuned it by 10%, but here's our engine. You can't do that. You have to measure it on track. But if you've got the advantage that Mercedes have got, you can afford to detune it by 2%, get the upgrade anyway. To be honest, who's shot the ball here is Mercedes. Not Mercedes, is the FIA. By the first year of a new engine, this shouldn't have been implemented, because what you should probably say is like increasing fines or decreasing like allowances, like testing allowances for teams using more than 4 engines. Because obviously, by the rules, I know you can take penalties to take more, but by the rules, you're limited to 4 engines anyway. So you can only introduce 4 upgrades. That would be the idea. So just say once you've used an engine, that spec is locked, can't be upgraded. You're only allowed 4 per season. If you use a 5th, you take a grid penalty, and we fine you. We take £1 million off your cost cap, or something. Maybe that's excessive. 100 grand off your cost cap. I don't know what a fair price would be. That would have made more sense to me, rather than this weird system that's clearly political and gameable. So a bit odd. Average results, well, because again, it's not everything. We've covered that Mercedes got a better deployment system, but this is a combustion engine upgrade system. Also, then you factor things like downforce and tyre wear and luck in races. Like, you can't do it on results. Yeah, you can't do it on results. Anyway, so yeah, bit of a weird one, as most of the things we're covering today are. But yeah, I think that's it on Real Life F1 actually for now. Lots and lots of really interesting stuff to talk about today. We'll move on to Create a Series in just a second, unless you guys have got anything else that I missed from Real Life F1. Obviously, we could talk all day about all the various things that happened in the Monaco Grand Prix, but those are the most interesting and controversial things, I think, to speak about. A bit like a weighbridge test. Yeah, again, though, they could come up with defeat devices. On track is the only fair way to measure it. Like, their measurement system probably is good. It's the fundamental. It's the existence of the system itself that's bad. It's just not necessary. It would suck if you lose an engine due to reliability. Yeah, but it would reward you. Or you could just say every team has got 2 or 3 homologated upgrades. You could just say that. Like, once you've homologated the engine, that's your spec. You're allowed to now change that twice per year. That's another way of doing it. That would because they're under a cost cap anyway, so that would limit the teams a little bit. They basically tried to create a little bit of a what do you call it? Balance of performance type system, kind of, to hold the fastest drivers while letting the slowest drivers catch up. I mean, basically, what they were mainly trying to avoid was a Honda situation, like Honda did previously and amazingly have done again, where a team's miles behind, they're locked into being terribly off the pace. That's mainly what they were trying to do, which makes sense. But the fact that they've not foreseen this system is just very silly. And more to the point, even if you say, all right, it's got to be 5% or 10%, right? So that no one's going to drop 10% combustion power for these upgrades. But even if you say that, so it's not worth gaming. Do we really want to see Ferrari locked in to a 2-3% disadvantage over Mercedes for the whole season? That sucks. That sucks. Just let the cars allow them to upgrade their engines. That's part of F1. I don't really understand why they've gone down this route. Very strange. Very strange. Oh, we talked about the Clerks crash already. I'm not gonna rehash it. You have to go back on the VOD. You missed it, yeah. My apologies, but it's obviously not worth rehashing everything. Well, everyone here is like, not everyone here, but a good chunk of people here have already heard it all. But yeah, anyway, right. I'll leave the real life F1 stuff there for now, guys. Look, I want to get more. I do more and more real life F1 stuff. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy going through this stuff with you. So stay tuned. To be honest, my main struggle with real life F1 is figuring out what works for me. I've experimented quite a lot over the last year, maybe even 2 years, with F1 content, trying to make the main channel F1 content thing, trying to do some short form and stuff, and the odd thing does all right, but mostly it does terribly. So I'm figuring out how to make real life F1 content work. But these Monday debriefs do work. I do quite enjoy these, so I think I might continue these maybe. And yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah, anyway. Right, let's move on to Creator Series, shall we? Let's move on to Creator Series. Big up the Monaco sucks. Should be dropped, gang. Give it a rest, GB. Give it a rest. So, Creator Series. The first thing I want to talk about was the new rules they've introduced this season. I didn't necessarily expect any new rules, to be honest. I was caught somewhat off guard by the new rules when they introduced them just a couple of days, at least publicly, a couple of days to us, a couple of days before the season started. So first up, of course, we need to cover, particularly from the Monaco Grand Prix, is that intermediate tyres are banned. I quite like this rule, personally. I don't know what you guys think, but we know that the wets are basically useless in the F1 game. The inters are always better, but obviously that means that the inters are so good. They work from almost dry to almost completely wet. It's a really broad range. So I quite like now you've effectively got a gap in the tyres, so that when you go from slicks, you have to go all the way to full wets. And then suddenly there's a lot less grip than what you would have got on the inters. The same for the wet pole as it is now. I didn't do it in Monaco because, to be honest, I mainly forgot. But also, it wasn't worth it because Monaco quali is everything. So I didn't do it for Monaco. But from what I saw, there's very low grip on the wet tyres. That's made that a lot more interesting. You're sort of skating around. I think this is a good rule. I don't think we need inters. I think it's a content-focused series. I think it's a brilliant way to mix things up a bit. I like it. I'm happy. What do you guys think? Time for Alex to slag off 21 other drivers. Absolutely. No thoughts in chat. No thoughts on that, because yeah, it is just a good rule change. Like it's not that big a deal. It just makes a lot of sense, honestly. I think it needs to be wet and into conditions, but we did know at the start of the rain in Monaco. But yeah, I think if you just see like a race that's wet the whole time, that would be interesting. Next up, we've got the all three tyres are mandatory now, so you have to run soft, medium, and hard for the whole race. I was a bit surprised by this, purely because it feels a little bit premature. We don't even know how the racing is going to go on F1 26 yet, and yet we're already introducing rules. That being said, not only did everybody have, all the creators pretty much in Creator Series have access for 2 weeks before everyone else, so we have done quite a bit of time on the game, but also I feel like this rule makes sense for Creator Series. I quite like it. I'm not against it. Soft, medium, and hard, I think it keeps races interesting, and the reason I say about it is a bit early because I feel like the tyres have changed quite a bit for the 26 cars, more than you'd expect, so I feel like we probably would see all three compounds anyway, or at least 2 stops anyway. I get it, but also in Monaco we probably would have seen, if it didn't rain, a medium hard. Everyone would have run medium hard. So yeah, again, similar to the wet rule, I feel like it makes sense. I feel like it's good. It's a content-focused series. I feel like they could even introduce something like this in real life. Might make it interesting. And especially as the soft tires actually work this year, they just wear out quite quickly. Again, I'm happy. I think it's a good change. I think the only drawback to this is that we only get 3 sets of soft tires in qualifying, so it's basically going to force everyone to only use 2 sets in qualifying, but obviously we do have that wet pole at the start anyway, so in theory we only ever were using two sets of softs, so that shouldn't really be an issue. But yeah, I like it. What do you guys think? People can swap them cheaply under safety cars. What's the point? Yeah, I think with this, it's a good point. I think it would be beneficial to do a at least 1 green flag lap on each set of tire. That being said, it's hard to monitor. It is hard to monitor. It's much easier to see, has everyone done 2 stops? Yes. Has everyone run each tire? By quickly looking at the race director, yes. Job done. Everyone's compliant. So I kind of get it, but Matt thinks the softs don't work in 26. He's wrong. He is wrong. They do wear quite quickly, but there's a much bigger difference off the grid this year, soft, medium, hard, and the softs do last longer than last year, but they do drop off reasonably quickly. Should be an evolving rule. Yeah, I think that's fair, Tom. I saw a few drivers annoyed that some didn't go for wet pole. Yeah, I thought that was interesting, especially at Monaco when qualifying is everything. It is going to be interesting because we've got such a big difference between the wet and slick tyres in qualifying. So there's going to be a few drivers that come together, but that's just up to drivers to manage, isn't it? It's just, if I'm on the slicks, I'm not going to start a lap right behind a wet runner. And if I'm a wet runner, I'm going to try and let somebody who's right behind me on the slicks go before I start my lap. Sometimes it's unavoidable because there's quite a big difference between the lap times, but that's just part of it, I think. Minimum 5 laps in each tyre. That could work, but again, safety cars are often 3+ laps, aren't they? So if you swap cheaply, you drop back as you'd be doing 2 stops in a row, so it's big. Well, not really, Hayden, because look at some of the gaps we had at Monaco, and that was Monaco. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of time that the top few are 20+ seconds clear of P6. So and under a safety car with everyone's pitting anyway, you take an extra pit stop, basically giving a benefit to the faster drivers if there's going to be a gap. Maybe there's not going to be a gap, but you do drop back. But if there's a tyre that's really bad that you want to get rid of, I think most people will be. We've seen it on Rainbow Tyre Challenge. It's the exact same thing, and that was the drawback of Rainbow Tyre Challenge. Exactly the same, wasn't it? That, it's a good, nice idea, but actually everyone gets rid of the wets on a dry track under every safety car, so it doesn't really work. Ban dry tyres in quali until 12 minutes left. I think that might be a good rule change, Carl. I wouldn't be upset with that. We are maybe starting to over-regulate a little bit, but I think that'd be a good rule change. I was on a lap. We're talking about Creator Series now. We're not doing Creator Series today. We're just talking about it. We're going to be looking at some clips in a second. We're talking about the rules for now. Magic is on the Creator Series calendar, yeah. Have they not published a calendar yet? Surely they have. Gaps aren't usually that big. They can be. The gaps are quite often quite big. Let's have a look, shall we? I don't think Monaco was necessarily perfectly representative, but look at Monaco and see what the gaps were. So, restarts, of course, which we're going to come to restarts in a second. We had a safety car. Safety cars. Lap 17, we had a safety car. Then we were caught behind Razin. Really get any flat out running, to be honest. Just before it rains. Let's look at that. I know you can't see, don't worry. Here we go. This is just before it rains. So, yeah, I mean, we've obviously had quite a few laps here, but I mean, look at the field spread there. Absolutely ginormous. Vince is 7 seconds behind me and he's here, but then look at the gap behind Vince. Absolutely ginormous. P6 is over 20 seconds behind me, maybe even a bit more than that, 25 plus. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I think Tom's right. As long as we keep evolving the rule, I think that works. Does Creative have a real stats page now? I don't think so. I wasn't aware. GB's got a what is it? Bug to bear. I can't think of the right phrasing, but I don't think you need to mandate. I don't think we have to mandate people using slicks, especially as it would tend to be the slower drivers who want to try a bit harder for qualifying not using slicks. I think that's fair. And that is almost exclusively what we see. We see the fast drivers doing a wet lap to try and get the point because they've actually got a chance. The slow drivers think, well, it's impossible. I cannot get that point, so why would I bother? I'm just going to try and qualify a bit better. Like, it just makes sense. That's me, 30 seconds behind. Very good, Tom. The best decision is my decision. Yeah, Hayden's decided that he's Jean-Marie Bellest. Is that how I say that? I can't remember how I say it now. Balestra. Jean-Marie Balestra. I probably pronouncing the R, but no bone to pick. I find it weird some people don't. Yeah, but GB, you're fast. Like, imagine you're a second lap slower than you, GB. Or just imagine you're a second lap slower than the leaders. You've got a 0% chance of getting that point. What is the point? Why would you bother? Surely you'd rather try and qualify a bit better because you struggle in qualifying because you struggle for consistency. You need 3 goes at your lap to be able to nail it. I think it makes sense. Anyway, let's move on to more rule changes. So they've also added points for qualifying. So the person who's fastest in qualifying. They've added a point for fastest lap, a point for most overtakes, and a point for driver of the day. And that is on top of the cleanest driver point that we already had from previous. I quite like this. I didn't really understand why we only gave out a point for cleanest driver before rather than a point for all of it. I do wonder though what happens if someone gets a penalty. Like if they get a post-race Creator Series penalty, they still get the cleanest driver point. Surely we take that cleanest driver point off them if they get a post-race penalty. That would be so strange. But yeah, I think this is good. Point for pole, point for fastest lap, point for most overtakes, point for driver of the day, point for cleanest driver. Good, perfect. It's a great series. We want more to go at, especially some of the slow drivers might do a late pit stop to get that point for fastest lap. I think it's good. Thoughts? That hinted at Razzan's dirty antics. No, it's not. But I think it did come up because of that after the race. Chat mentioned it. Pole has already advanced in the race. Yeah, but why not give an extra point? You woke up and chose violence. Yeah, he did. It's done by positions gained or total overtakes. I think it's total overtakes. I don't know. Cleanest driver is number of consecutive clean laps. And I think it's total overtakes. Sometimes you do find people that are like having gone from the back to the front and don't get most overtakes. That said, I don't know exactly like if you're just doing this. I don't know if that counts or it's got to be like a whole lap. I don't know. Cleanest driver was rigged anyway. I had a race where I was the only one without pens, but again, you might have had warnings. It's cleanest laps. You need consecutive cleanest laps, and if you've got the same consecutive cleanest laps as somebody else, I think it's random between you two. So yeah, it could have been random in that case. But over 100% distance race, you're unlikely to have multiple people having 0 warnings, to be honest. Main reason for pole point is now with most overtakes, driver day point, fast drivers can just start last, and it's too easy to points gained. So now you have a reason to not do that. What, for the pole point? Oh, yeah, fair point. Yeah, to be honest, Ben's the sort of person that goes for these sort of things more. He loves fastest laps even when you don't get a point for it. So Ben will be all over this. No one's ever got the maximum points, though, last season. And that's when we had less points than we have got available now. So I'm interested to see if someone ever gets, like, all of these bonuses. Because it's possible, I think. Unless most overtakes is just based on grid position versus finishing position, then obviously it's not. But, yeah, we'll see. Consecutive clean laps. It's record for consecutive clean laps. So if you do, 69 out of 70 laps clean in a row, you will probably get it as long as no one else has done it. No warnings. But if you get that same single warning halfway through the race, that's only 35 laps either side, and that's not enough. Yeah, exactly, Hyper. Yeah, exactly. Most of the grid, no point doing wet quali because the only rewarding position is P1, whereas normal quali, all the positions are rewarded. If I find a 10th and it puts me P8 instead of P12, I've been rewarded for my efforts. Saf got most overtakes, it was -2 net. Well, there we go. There we go. The only way you could do it would be to get pole lobby restarts after you crash and then get what? Do it would be to get pole lobby restarts after you crash. Oh, I see. Well, no, because someone just said that Safso got -2 net, so clearly it is possible to get all of them. Anyway, moving on. The next rule change is standard damage. For me, I think this is good. I think Creator Series would even benefit from sim damage, but I get why they don't. Reduced always seemed excessively lenient to me. Standard seems good. We had a few people DNF in Monaco, but with a new game and somewhat more challenging handling model, especially in the wet conditions, wasn't a big surprise. It was such a long race as well. All the restarts we had, we'll cover that in just a second. But yeah, I think that's a solid change. I think if you're a bottler, you may not like this, but I think it's good. People DNF easier. I think it looks a bit odd when you have quite a big crash and you survive, you get no damage. Like, you've got to have some punishments for contact, surely. So I think it's good. And then finally, double points in the finale. Again, I like this. I think pretty much all the rule changes have been cooking, honestly. Because obviously we've had the last few seasons, the Creator Series admins have meddled anyway in the finales. They've given the person who's about to lose championship an artificial advantage for some reason. I'm very against it. So at least now they decide ahead of time, hey, double points in the finale. I don't love it on the face of it, because why is that one race worth 2 races? I'd rather see, rather than double points in the finale, I'd prefer to see 2 races for the finale, a double header where it's 25 points for each race, so there is still 50 points available on the last day. But obviously then you still might have someone win the championship with still a 50% distance race to go, so I get it. Yeah, it's fine. I would choose not to have it personally, but I get that it's a content focused series. They're going to medal anyway. This is a better way of doing it. It just puts a lot of pressure on that final race, even if you're 30 points clear. Not 30. If you're 20 points clear, there's quite a lot of pressure still on that final race. And even more so if you've done a really good season and it's been really, really close and you're 10 points clear of your rival thanks to getting an extra win, and then you finish second, you lose the championship just because that one race is more important. Like, I don't love double points finales, but for Creator Series, I think it's good overall. What do you think? My attention DNF is much easier, the standard damage. Double points is of Baku. Yeah, more likely to be DNFs. Like imagine being 40 points clear at the end of the season and looking like you guaranteed the championship, and then someone has a whoopsie and DNFs you, and then you lose the championship. It's pretty brutal, but that's content. Although that's brutal for the person that just lost, that is unbelievable content, and everybody would be talking about it. And hello, that's what Creator Series is for. So, yeah. Double points for the small rewards? Yeah, I quite like that idea. I don't think they're going to do that though, but I do quite like that idea. Give you 51 clear. Yeah, you could be. Yeah, because all the bonus points. Right, that's it. That's all the rule changes. Let's move on to the restarts. We'll get into some actual clips in just a second. But the restarts. So we had quite a few of these. We had 2 restarts. It was a long old time. I have to say though, I want to give props to the Creator Series management, because I felt like they managed the restarts really well. It was clear that the lobbies needed restarting. The lobbies were completely broken. People getting disqualified for no fault of their own. As much as obviously it's frustrating to be delayed like that, nobody wants that. Not a single person wanted that. Apart from maybe the people that got disqualified unfairly. But yeah, I thought they managed it quite well. I think they could have done it a bit quicker. I think it would have made more sense to change hosts rather than having the same host all 3 times. But look, I don't think there's anything they did wrong. I think that they made the right decisions. I think they managed it well. It was EA's fault at the end of the day that we haven't bugged lobbies. We do often get this on the first week, because it's the first Saturday nights, which is a very busy time for the F1 game. The servers seem to struggle. I think we've had issues the last couple of years. So yeah, I just think, although it's frustrating to have the restarts, I just want to give props to them. I think they managed it quite well on the whole. So yeah, that's it really. Moving on to let's look at some clips, shall we? Let's look at some clips. So, I probably should have put together a little side-by-side for this, but I haven't. I have actually done some planning for this today. I'm not just winging it completely. I've got full notes here, so I'm not too bad. So first up, we're going to look at. Hold on. So first up, we're going to look at my incidents. There's a few things I want to go through today. My incidents, and then we'll get into So first up, I want to look at my incidents. There's a few things I want to go through today, but first of all, we're going to just look at just what happened with me. And there was only really 2 incidents. Despite quite an interesting Monaco Grand Prix, there was only really 2 sort of somewhat dramatic incidents to look through. First up, of course, that is the Razin incident. Now, this gave me damage, which is very frustrating at the time. I'm not going to lie, though, although I can be a bit of a negative Nancy at times, I was quite happy with how I reacted to this. Because obviously, you know, I've been given, was it 16% of damage for the rest of the race, and it did cost me. I'm not saying it necessarily cost me the win, but it did hold me back. It was very frustrating, especially against someone like Razin, who's normally so good. I had a couple of laps where I was being a negative Nancy and ranting a little bit, but considering I've been given damage in a straight line by being squeezed into the wall, I think that was completely fair. But yeah, we're gonna have a little look at it here and see what you guys think now with hindsight. Let's have a look. So this is obviously Razin directly in front. So a good one of them here. Overtake mode was working quite nicely into here, and I outbraked him massively. Got ahead round the outside. I knew I'd only try this on Razin because I knew he'd give me room, and does. And that leaving plenty of room here. I'm against the wall. Oh, hang on, I can't pause. Why can't I pause? Hello, pause. Thank you. I get the exit on him. I've got better tyres, so I've now got not only better traction and I've got a better exit than him, but I've also got the overtake mode. So I'm thinking I'm going to be 3/4 of a car length ahead. Going into the corner, I'll leave him room on the inside. This should be GG's. But I'm ultimately pinned up against the wall here. Completely against the wall. I can go right no further. I can do no more. And obviously, although he's right there, maybe with hindsight, you could say I should have pushed him over a little bit to make sure I'm not hitting the wall that's clearly jutting out a little bit here. At the end of the day, I'm trying to get momentum. If I'm rubbing on him, I'm not got that momentum. So I can see he's right there, but I'm just trying to trust that he's going to leave a car's width and stay in that car's width. I don't want contact, 'cause that's going to cost me my momentum. So I basically was forced to go right up against the wall. But unfortunately, just before we get to this barrier here, there, you can just see the car just adjusted. There's a little bit of contact there from Razin. Despite me being literally against the wall, who just pushed me even further right, and I'm just pinned now. Look, the hand's gone up of the in-game driver. I'm just pinned against the wall. This sticks out very slightly, and then boom, I get some wing damage. I was actually very, very lucky that was only wing damage. That could have been a DNF right there, very, very easily. So only minor wing damage, I will absolutely take it. Watch it through again at full speed. Very frustrating for me. Especially as, you know, for once I did absolutely nothing wrong as far as I'm aware. We'll look at Razin's POV in a second. There you go. You see, that's that little hit just before we get to the barrier. A little bit of contact. Just there. It just pushes me just that little bit more, and I just get that minor bit of wing damage, which is unfortunate. Razin also got damage, but that doesn't, I don't care if Razin got damage. I care if I got damage. But let's have a look from Razin's POV. Not that. Just give me a second to grab up Razin's POV. Get a clip for this. Here's a clip somewhere, though.
Follow, man. Feel free to follow. Keep it.
Go.
Pass both of them there. It's both of you push through.
There we go.
Alright, Gillon's definitely closer now. Okay, I've got wing damage.
There it is. So he gets that wing damage.
Really?
So obviously here I get ahead of him. He's very fair, perfect room given. He does turn me a little bit there, but I've got no issues with that whatsoever. It's Monaco, it's tight here, it's very difficult. Razin is the only. And the reason I was so disappointed is because it's Razin. Razin is the only person that I can do this with and think that he will actually give me room. Going side by side through the chicane fairly, which we just did, is unbelievable. How many 2 drivers do you think can ever do that with each other? It just doesn't happen. Either they're not clean enough to allow it, or they make a little mistake, they go a little bit deep, they accidentally put someone in the wall. Like, happens all the time. Razin, I was like, I can do it, Razin, I can do it. But here, if you look at the angle of his car, and this is how you can tell, the aerial is bang in the middle of the car. Right, the aerial is bang in the middle. So if you follow that aerial up perfectly, you can see exactly where his car is pointing, which, as you can see there, is back towards the racing line. So he doesn't feel like he is right now pointing right. He feels like he's pointing straight, but he is pointing right. So although he's just giving me a car width right now, and it is close, but he is giving me a car width ultimately, he is going right. He's also flooring the throttle to try and get the power down. You see he's full throttle there with boost mode in third gear. So he's obviously going to get a bit of wheel spin as well on top of it all. And there, look where my pointer is now. I've not moved it. That's still bang in the middle of the screen. And now look, he's literally aiming to the right of the racing line into the corner. And then look, even more now, aiming right. Look at that. Look how far right he's gone now. He's not meaning to. I think he's getting wheel spin. But at the end of the day, that's not my problem. You can't say, oh, whoops, I had wheel spin. Never mind, you're out, buddy. You know what I mean? So he just goes right. There's no way I would say it. There's that bit of contact I spoke about. It just pushes me right just a little bit. And you can see here, I'm clearly ahead at this point. Because I've got the better exit, I've got the overtake mode, and then yeah, just a bit of contact there. I bounce off the wall, I bounce into him. Razin didn't even realise he did it. You know, he didn't even realise he did it. It was just a straight up mistake. We're not going to dwell on it too much. It was a straight up mistake. But 100% on Razin. It's literally in a straight. I'm literally ahead. I can't go any further right. There is no possible way to blame me here. Although I saw some people will try. But yeah, it's just a straight up mistake. Really, that's it. That's all it is. What do you guys think? Just a very, very easy mistake to make. There are multiple quick series drivers who can race clean. Yeah, but how often do they race clean? Especially in a corner like that, which is very hard. To, like, send around the outside of that in that corner and both get given room. It just doesn't happen. Just doesn't happen. Kyle Hayden would do it cleaner. Yeah, definitely. Tom, GB, Tom 87, Safso, Fabio could easily go wheel to wheel there. Find me a clip then. Find me a clip. We had a 78 lap race. I'm sure it happened at some point with some of those guys you're talking about. But it looks like nothing from Razin PV. I feel no. Yeah, exactly. It's a straight up mistake. Like he's not. I don't think he's really trying to squeeze me as such because he already is squeezing me. With hindsight, I wish I just came out a little bit, kind of pushed him over a little bit. But again, I was trying to maintain that momentum. So, and realistically, if I'm coming out and making contact with him, that's naughty on me. So, yeah, I think I did the right thing. Making me out of nothing. Yeah, exactly. But it's just unfortunate. It gave both of us damage. It kind of ruined both our races. It's just a misjudgment. And I was saying afterwards, I wasn't that annoyed. I was just disappointed. I really was. I was like, I can do this with Razin. I can be clean with Razin. So to then end up in the wall, I was really disappointed. But it's what it is. A sour bin Razin. Yeah, agreed. Do your own job and get your own clips? Absolutely not. No. I just make statements. It's up to you to prove them wrong. But yeah, let's move on. So that was the Razin incident. Not too much more to say. The only other one to look at from my side, from my race, was Ben's overtake in the wets. And you may recall at the time, my initial reaction was like, I think that was all right, but what do you guys think? Was basically my reaction. So we'll have a look at it now from both our POVs, and we can do some analysis, and you guys can tell me what you think. Let's see, let's find it. Yes, it is here. So, because of that damage, I was struggling quite heavily in this race, particularly in that high speed top of the hill. I just didn't quite have the grip. So here, coming through turn one, not an ideal turn one, but not too bad either. Not supposed to be on the exit, but that's kind of par for the course in the wet. Ben's quite close here, but realistically, this isn't a send corner, so I'm not expecting him to send it. With hindsight, I'll probably brake a little bit early, but you know, just knowing that this is my bogey corner with the damage, I guess I was braking a bit too early. So Ben sends up me inside there. Hello? Good. Hold on. Not where I just was. Let's watch it through at full speed. Here we go. So yeah, Ben launches up the inside. At the time, I was like, because a lot of the time in this sort of corner, this happens, and someone just gets like a tiny bit of a wheel alongside you, and you know, often they're trying to back out or whatever, or they're just seeing if they can be opportunistic. So I wasn't sure at the time how far alongside he got. There was a bit of contact at the apex. I felt like I squeezed him a little bit. I did say this at the time as well. And I wasn't sure if that was a fair move, considering it's not really a braking zone. You see those well alongside me. A bit of contact, definitely a bit of a squeeze from me, but I really wasn't sure what was going on at the time because it was such a last minute move. Let's go on board with Ben. A sec. Well, that was it. 70. Here we go. Here we go. So from Ben's POV, to me, there we go. From Ben's POV, to me, it's quite different because he actually does a very fair and very much alongside Sen. From my point of view live, because it's not a big braking zone, I thought he was that much alongside. Turns out he was a lot more alongside than that. Completely 100% fair Sen. I've got no issues whatsoever with that. That was really, really nice, to be honest. Considering this isn't a big braking zone, the fact he got there and got it stopped was absolutely unbelievable. A little bit of contact at the apex, but I think it's completely clean. No concerns for me whatsoever. A bit of a squeeze for me for sure, but I think a bit of a surprise move like that, I guess that's kind of expected. No harm was done. He got the move done fairly because he was well up my inside. I can't believe I managed to break that early. If even Ben, look at his face, he's absolutely shocked that this works. I was probably being a bit too cautious with the damage I had, but yeah, fair play. Really nice move. No complaints whatsoever for me. So perfectly clean for me. Ben seemed surprised. Yeah, he was. He was really surprised. He was genuinely like, oh, I didn't. He kind of went for a half speculative move, but I just break earlier than he expected, so he just flies up inside. What's this Simply Benny guy waffling on about in Twitch chat? Did we not already ban him? Is it repeating it in my chat? Oh, no, he is banned. Why is it going through in my chat then? That's annoying. Anyway. Wait, no, it's coming through here as well. Why is it coming through here? Is he not banned? Definitely banned. What's going on? Is it a new account, James? What's going on? Have you only just banned that guy? There was definitely someone posting it earlier. It's the same account. Why is it getting repeated? Why, as a banned account, why is he allowed to still post it? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, Ben's in God mode. Hey, Lolly. Ben's in God mode. Hope Ben's going to do Norris's race in Monaco. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're going to review Ben's overtakes in just a second, actually. But yeah, I mean, I even said at the time, despite not obviously wanting to lose that race win like that, having led in a hard to overtake race, in a hard to overtake conditions, having led with just 8 laps to go, obviously it was disappointing for me to lose the win. But you got to take your hats off to it. Ben was a deserving winner. Oh, he's timed out? Okay, that's why. Now he's banned. Okay, fair. Yeah, anyway, not much more to say on the incidents for my race, to be honest. They were kind of open and shut, really. There wasn't too much controversy from my side. But I want to look at Mr. Daly's overtakes because he qualified, I think it was P8 or P9. And yes, there was a couple of restarts and a couple of safety cars. But to come through and overtake that many people, but it's not just that, because he also did an alternative strategy. So Ben overtook many people at Monaco. And Ben seemed really the only person that was able to consistently do it. Now, I know some other people had some overtakes. But considering Ben is overtaking right at the very front with the most consistent drivers, that is unbelievably impressive. He did 16 overtakes. 16 overtakes at Monaco across the 100% plus a bit Grand Prix. Unbelievably impressive. But let's go and have a look at all of them and decide if we think they are deserving of that praise or if maybe we should be less positive about the moves that Ben Daly's been pulling off. Let's have a look. Right, first up.
Stay alive.
We've got his start.
New season starts here.
So on hard tyres, you can see the difference in the tyres. Look at Concept getting a much better start. Coming across there on Crib, I think that was just about okay. And sending it on Concept, bit of contact in front. Nice and tidy. Job done. This doesn't even count, by the way, in the overtakes that I mentioned.
We've gained somehow.
There, Ricky managed to get back up his inside with softs.
Oh, Ricky.
Bit of barging through there. Not gonna lie, not the cleanest, but also I think it's okay. I mean, Ricky comes back up the inside here, never quite gets clear of Ben. He might actually get a white proximity out there. It might stop being red. Ben's kind of always there. There's a bit of contact there. Ben's clearly there now, and then Ricky does turn in a little bit.
Oh, Ricky.
I think probably most drivers would have backed out here where Ben hasn't backed out, but you don't have to back out, and I think this is okay. He's still there. It's the race start.
Oh, Ricky.
He doesn't go deep. He leaves loads of room.
Well,
Ricky just turns in a little bit. I think if Ricky on his better soft tyres, I think if he holds a wider line here, I think he keeps that position. So I think that's completely fine. So that's the first one.
Good start.
Then we're going to move on to lap 8 in the chicane. Find it. Is this then on Concept?
I just did not turn there.
Not great. Not the best. That one was definitely a bit of a dive bomb. He is pretty close, and Concept does leave the door wide open. I don't begrudge him for going for it in the slightest. I think that was a completely fair attempt, but he does just break too late. He says he doesn't turn, but ultimately he's going deep regardless of when he turns. Concept, unfortunately for him, doesn't have a penalty right now and does end up getting a penalty for this. But as Ben says a little bit later on, and I've always said this, although Ben's pushed him off track, so you could say, oh, Ben's given a penalty, Concept's the one that's decided to floor it off track. And I've got some stick for this defence before when I've used it for myself. But I don't... It's Concept that's not been smart here. Don't get me wrong, Ben should not be keeping this position, even though he gets there, ahead of the apex, whatever rule you want to follow, and then keeps it on track. Technically speaking, that's a legal move. We don't want to see that in Creator Series realistically. So I'm glad Concept keeps the position, but he doesn't have to floor it off the track. Concept should slow down, make sure he doesn't get any warning from it, and then Ben should let him go. That's it. Concept choosing to floor it off track just because Ben's done a bit of a dodgy move isn't Ben's fault. Not directly. So I've got no issue with the penalty. The penalty's on Concept, not on Ben. And he does apologise there anyway. Look, it's an ambitious send. It's Monaco. The door was wide open. I think that's fine, although he did go deep. Next up, we've got lap 9, the very next lap. Penalty. Same driver in the chicane. Here we go. Let's see if we can get it done a bit cleaner this time. Much closer. Concept pretty much wading through here. Gets to stop this time. Leaves a little bit of room in the apex. Leaves just enough room for him to keep a tyre on the track. Squeaky clean. Squeaky clean. Absolute perfection there from Ben. Fair play.
Let's razz and go.
Then we move on to race 2. Lap 1. Turn 1. Here we go. So we've got Top 97 disconnected in front. So, being an AI car, Ben decides to take advantage of that and dive up his inside. Now, for me, that's the worst one so far.
Well,
because this always happens. People lose their mind around AI cars. I don't know why. Ben obviously is not only trying to take advantage of the AI car, but also is a bit wary that AI car might break early. But ultimately, what happens is Ben goes for regardless of AI or not, Ben goes for a dive bomb up the inside of turn 1 of 100% distance race and making it 3 wide. That's not smart, no matter who you are, no matter who you're racing, whether it's AI or not. So ultimately, of course, from that angle and having brake that late, goes deep. That is not enough room there for 2 cars. He's gone deep. Yes, one of them's AI, but Meraki's there. He's not AI. He's going to get pushed into the barrier. Also, Tom 97's about to rejoin, and if Ben gives him damage here, Tom 97's then got damage when he rejoins. So it's just over ambitious. I know it's Monaco, but that's not on. For me, that's the only one so far really that I'm happy to say that isn't good. That's way over ambitious for the start of a 100% distance race. It's not on. Ben saying if Jake did it properly, what more should Jake do, Ben here? Ben, what more should Jake do here? He's round the outside off the start. He gets the better launch. He's already alongside Tom 97 now. He can't go to the inside. There's not a gap here anyway between you two to go to the inside. He's forced to go on the outside. So he goes on the outside of Tom 97. He knows he's in AI. He's just chilling. He's going, well, I don't want to send it too hard and end up in the barrier. And now he's 3 wide. There's nothing more he can do. If Jake braked a bit later, he would have been ahead. But then the AI would have been caught in the middle of you two, and you both would have had a much worse time of it. So Jake does absolutely nothing wrong here. I completely refute this as anything that Jake did wrong. Jake is racing this normally. It can only be put on you, Ben, I'm afraid. It's just I know it's AI, and if Jake didn't exist, this move's completely fine because it's AI. Ben's going to get it stopped. He's not going to shove the AI in the wall. It's completely fine. It's the fact that Jake exists around the outside, going 3 wide, dive bomb turn 1 just isn't wise. It isn't wise. So unfortunately, this is the worst thing. Yeah, should we go on board with Jake? It's a good point. Let's go on board with Jake. Lap 1 of race 2, aren't we? Sports. Wait, I'm still in sports mode, aren't I? Actually, hold on. Speaking of sports, I forgot I started streaming in sports mode. Change that on Twitch from 25.
Surely not.
That's actually. Was he watching there? No, he's not.
That's the sort of thing you would do, though, Hayden. Like,
right, we could go. We good.
Ollie.
To go.
First race. Second race. Yeah. Wait, bit far.
Jake.
Thank
Here
you.
we go.
I'll sit below.
The Bobby Jake. So good start. Well alongside the AI, this is GG's. Whoa, very nearly gets put in the wall. Jake actually manages that quite well, to be fair to him. He manages that quite well. I think the AI being very passive here, oh god, has helped Jake. I thought it was going to look worse from Jake's POV, to be fair. Doesn't mean it's not a regress from Ben, 'cause it clearly is, but... Oh, a bit of contact. Yeah, look how close Jake is to the wall. A few more millimeters, that would have been damage for Jake. Yeah, anyway, moving on to... next race now. This is the third and final race, the one that actually counted.
Straight into it.
Once
Attempt
again, it's
three,
going to
here
be
we go.
off the start. Good start. Gets a good launch on Jake once again. So does squeeze Jake a bit here. And I know Jake had an issue with this afterwards. Because Jake is a bit squeezed. To be honest, though, from Ben's POV, he does nothing wrong. He obviously can't break in late here. Tom's in the way. The proximity goes white very, very early. It clearly looks like Jake's backing out. Watch it once again full speed. But Jake looks like he's backing out. The proximity goes white. Why would Ben leave room when he's got the white proximity arrow? There. Takes his line, bit of contact, puts Jake in the wall. Unfortunately, Jake gets damage from that, which is unfortunate. Once again, we'll go grab Jake's POV, but definitely frustrating from Jake's point of view to get damage for that. And you could argue that Ben should be a bit more wary than that. That being said, I think 9 drivers out of 10 are doing exactly what Ben did there. Again, we'll watch it from Jake's POV. It's worse from Jake's POV, and you go, oh, that's not great from Ben. But from Ben's POV, I've got no issue with it. It's fine.
Yeah, W.
Just bogged down on the start. And yeah,
That's definitely
unfortunate to get damage, but ultimately braked a bit early. With the gap here, he should have braked later than that. Should have been more alongside Ben. Here as well, doesn't carry the right speed despite having no dirty air around the outside. So Ben manages to jump past him. And at this point here, you back out. Like, hindsight's a wonderful thing, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I would even necessarily backed out, because here you're hoping to get a bit of room. But obviously, you know, look, he's barely alongside now. There's only one way, unfortunately, and that was into the barrier. So yeah, Ben does nothing wrong. It's just unfortunate. Honestly, it's a proximity arrow issue more than anything else. So yeah, it's what it is. On to lap 20 then is the next overtake for Ben. It's going to be a safety car restart.
All right.
There we go. So he's going to try and overtake Tom 97 at the top of the hill. Obviously, he's on fresh medium tyres. Everyone else in front on the hard tyres. So he's got a decent tyre advantage here. And he does pretty much the same move that he did on me later on, but much more minor. I think Tom is very kind to him here. Tom is very, very kind to him here. Tom makes a mistake, arguably, by not sending in hard enough and allowing Ben to get alongside here. But even at this point, Ben's barely along the inside, but there he's fairly alongside. But before that, he's only just alongside. I think Tom would have been perfect in his rights to kind of take his normal line here, because it is a bit of a late lunge in the corner. You can't really lunge in. Like here, Tom probably should be turning in a bit more, but then I guess he's got the dirty air on Fabio. Maybe that helps. But yeah, quite kind from Tom. At this point, obviously, absolutely deserves room. But nice move from Ben. Does absolutely nothing wrong, obviously.
See a chump.
Decent clean move. I think Tom was just quite passive there, but I can't speak because he did pretty much the same thing to me at the end of the race. Next up we've got Fabio. I think is later this lap. No, lap 22. Oh no, it is latest lap. It's latest lap. There we go.
Fabio, prepare to be bombarded.
So Fabio on, I think he's on old hards. I think Tom was as well actually, but Fabio's definitely on old hards. Goes to the inside here. Fabio kind of squeezes a little bit. Ben goes a little bit deep. I think that's a result of the squeeze. Squeaky clean. You can't... At Monaco, it doesn't get much cleaner than that.
P5?
Yes, there could have been less contact, but that was, you know... as good as it gets. Lap oh my word, that's my incident. We'll watch that in a second. Lap 22. Here we go. Once again, same thing on Lolly here. Just commits nice and early. Lolly's very fair to him. A little bit of contact there, but nothing doing. Safsa going a little bit deep, and I think Ben does shove Safsa a bit wide there. I think he's completely fair on Lolly. That's completely fair. A little bit of contact, but it's part and parcel of F1 game. Safsa going deep, allows him to get alongside there as well. Here, I do think he goes a little bit deep. He straightens up a little bit there, having turned in a bit too early, which kind of pushes Safsa a little bit wide, which is why Safsa was such a terrible exit. That being said, he was getting Safsa anyway. Again, part and parcel of the F1 game. It's not iRacing where you can get flipped up into the air with a bit of contact. So, yeah, again, clean. Nicely done. On to that 24.
Race leader right now.
On me. Round the outside. Gets it stopped very, very nicely. Ben calls it moving the braking. It is technically moving just for the braking, but it is definitely late moving. And nicely done. Really, really nicely done. No notes for me, really. I did go defensive, but he sends it on the outside. I was kind of caught behind Razin a little bit, who was quite a lot slower at this phase. And he gets it done.
That's some prime moving in the
He's
braking, Alex.
ahead here. Nothing I can do, really. And he gets the move done. Job done. On to lap 24. Wait. Oh, we just were on lap 24. Sorry. My bad. Here we go. So then on Razin, later the same lap. I think it was a little bit defensive there, so Ben doesn't go for anything outrageous, but he's all over him here. Much, much better grip at this phase. Goes for here. Razin goes very defensive. Nice driving there from Razin. A little bit deep, though. Still an opportunity for Ben. Lining one up now into the same corner as we did a couple of laps ago. Nice and close to Razin, who drives quite smartly there. Sort of drives quite straight. Might have felt like a bit moving the brake for Ben. Then dives to the inside, but that just compromises his exit completely. And nice, easy move. But a little bit of a mistake from Razin, but I've got to say Ben sort of lined him up for that. Clearly, Ben is going to go for it on the inside here if Razin doesn't do this. So he comes across. You could argue he comes across a bit too much, but you know, it was move the position. It was lose the position one way or lose it another way. So Razin had unfortunately a poor couple of choices there. So Ben gets him again. Nice move there. Set up Razin very, very nicely. On to lap 30 now. We're just looking at Ben's successful overtakes here. So on to lap 39. On Fabio once again. He does go defensive, but now Ben with the fresh hard tyres. Fabio with old hard tyres. Goes right outside again. Very nicely done. Left perfect amount of room. Super, super clean. This is very much a showcase in how to overtake at Monaco, isn't it? On to that 48. Nailed it. This time on Vince. Now, this one's a bit more of a lunge. He's not that close to Vince. But Vince does leave the door wide open. This is quite the send. But does, again, just about leave room. I think Vince was relatively kind to him here. Bending him a whole lot of choice. I mean, that's not that close at Monaco. But considering how far back he came, he gets it stopped nicely. Leaves Vince just a little bit of room there. Doesn't completely show him off. And again, nicely done. Very nice move. On to that 49. This time on Jake, who again is on much older tyres than Ben, so he's got a decent pace advantage. Absolutely all over him. He's going defensive. Ben sent him around the outside. Gets ahead of him, very similar to the move on me. Much better tyres. Leaves room there.
Get clipped, buddy.
Get clipped, buddy, he says, but nice move once again. On to lap 55.
Why does he do this?
Nailed it again.
Lately?
Here we go, into the final corner. Sends it on the outside of me. Doesn't quite make it stick though, but opposite to what he did, what Razin did, I do. He does push me a little bit there. I think, watch it one more time, a little bit of a dive bomb, but I don't think I can complain. He got it stopped well enough. A little bit of contact there, pushed me a tiny bit wider than he otherwise could have done, but again, it's Monaco. So I think that's completely fine, so gets it done. On to lap 65. Into the wet conditions now. On Lolly this time. Just leaves the door open. Up the inside it comes. Quite a lot of contact there, which isn't ideal, but I covered this straight after the race on Saturday. I would rather see this kind of move where it's a bit deep and there's a bit of contact. I'd rather see that than a procession at Monaco, personally, in the F1 game. I think that's okay. Yes, there's contact. Yes, it isn't how you'd ideally like a clean move to happen. And at other tracks, I think this would be a bit naughtier. At a track like Monaco, it's virtually impossible to overtake. He left the door open. He gets pretty much wheel-to-wheel at the apex. Yes, he pushes him a little bit wide, but then ultimately leaves him room through the hairpin and stuff. Like, I think this is fine. At Monaco, this is fine because it's so hard to overtake. It's almost impossible to make a completely squeaky clean move. And then finally, one more move to make to win the race on to lap 70. You could see this a little bit earlier on. But really nice move. Clearly, I brake a little bit too early. Diving up the inside there. Gets it stopped. Gets a bit squeezed by me. And gets the move done. So, not going to lie, having compiled these incidents, I expected to see a few more rude ones, to be honest. I expected to see a few that like, oh, classic Ben, like that one's awful. But it didn't happen. Almost all of those were squeaky clean for me. Certainly when you factor in Monaco, but even without factoring Monaco, they were really good. There was a couple, sure, that were over the limit, but look, if you want to win a race at Monaco, you've got to go over the limit sometimes. So, yeah, no complaints to me, honestly, on Ben's driving now. I thought he drove, for the most part, very fairly, very cleanly. And, yeah, I was impressed and absolutely deserving winner. I thought that on Saturday. I think even more now I've seen his moves. What do you think? Braille overtake a little bit, but A, that's the F1 game. B, that's Monaco. Combine those two together, you're gonna get some contact. His late braking car position was really good, where he plays on the Creator Series rules. Yeah, exactly. He's playing the F1 game, where contact is virtually encouraged, and Creator Series, where the rules aren't too strict. So, yeah. I was somewhat the biggest recipient of Classic Ben. I think the Send Turn 1 probably was the worst thing you did, yeah. Why has no one turned in on him once? That is severe terror. But this is what I mean. There was a few people there that were quite passive with him. I sort of turned in on him a little bit, but there was a few people that were quite passive with him that could have maybe been a bit harsher, because sometimes he was going for a half move and they kind of let him through. But that's not in Ben's control, is it? Channel is in a Danny Rick. Yeah, maybe he is. You passed me? I passed you lap 1, did I? Did I? I didn't. Were you ahead of me at any point, Tom? I don't think you were. It's like when people play really good FIFA but bad football. It doesn't matter that it wouldn't work real life if you were on a game. Yeah, not the perfect analogy, but I get where you're coming from. Not me, Ben? Okay, yeah. Oh, what? Like, yeah, at the top of the hill. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a classic example. You've been a bit too passive, Tom. I think a lot of those were a bit passive, but not all of them. Lolly raced him hard. I raced him hard. Razin raced him hard. It's not like they're all gifted to him. Absolutely not. It's not like he's racing in Spit 5 of a noob league here, and he's like pulling off clips, but actually no one cares. Like, you know, you got to give respect where it's due. Respect where it's due. Right, moving on then. That was Ben's overtakes. So the other thing is to look at more clips. So the only clips I've got in my notes are Krim's DNF and Tom97's bottle. But what we're going to do, which are obviously linked, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the Creator Series. They still do put together some Clipbook, which is very nice of them. So we're going to go through the Clipbook and see if there's any interesting ones that we want to look at. It's quite long because it's Monaco. There's over 70 clips, and I bet there's about 70 again in the Stream Clips channel. But we'll go through what we can, and if we miss anything chronologically, oh, actually most of the clips aren't in there yet. But if we miss anything chronologically, not chronologically, then if by the end of this we miss something, let me know. We can go back through, because it looks like most of the clips aren't in there yet. It looks like most of the notes are, most of the clips are not. So I'll have to go through the Stream Clips channel instead. Wait, there's one I didn't show? No, there's not. Top of the hill. Turn 1 on his AI. On the next restart, top of the hill. Me? Bottle? Can't be. What's going on with you, Tom? Are you, have you not done many laps so far in this game? I feel like you have the odd bottle in you, but normally your pace is better than that. I feel like I was surprised to see you so low down in quali, and you never seem to feature, particularly in the race. What happened in your race, Tom? Lasso did more, did he? At the hairpin? Okay, yeah. Anyway, right, let's have a look at the Stream Clips channel then, chat, which is the channel that most creators, not most creators, but a good chunk of creators put clips in. And there's a lot of messages in this channel. So let's have a little filter of these. Well, there's a clip here that from me that says "Move, lolly, get out of the way." What's this? It's fine now. So yeah. So hopefully that means then what I'm checking here is that the lobby. The safety car. I forgot about this. Oh my god.
Stay behind the safety car.
The safety guy he's just doing the marshal's work, isn't he? Clearing the track for the marshals. Don't worry, guys, I got this one.
The safety car isn't fundamentally bugged. Oh my god.
Get out of the way.
Stay behind the safety car.
Unbelievable. I love that.
Get out of the way, Lolly. What are you doing?
Incredible. Tom qualified poll. Yeah, I actually asked Tom for his poll app, but unfortunately he didn't record it, so we haven't got his poll app. Right, we've got a Fibex murder here. What's this? You gonna turn in? No. Oh, you murdered Fibex.
I've just killed.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. And do you know what? This clip is you know what I sometimes say? That the people at the front are judged much more harsh than everyone else. You know, like me, Ben, and GB and others, and often get hate for like, oh, it's so dirty, so horrendous, and or worse still, get penalties for doing basically this when this always gets ignored when it's down in the field. Like this is just the standard of Creator Series. Like, Watts obviously isn't intending to dive this deep, but just does and just absolutely smashes him into the wall, and it's a DNF from Fibex. So not good driving, obviously.
Oh, I've just killed. I've just killed.
Not good driving at all. I mean, the move isn't done. Like, before he hits the brakes, he's alongside, don't get me wrong, but the move's not done. You shouldn't be braking this late.
Oh, I've just killed.
Bad misjudgment there. Bad misjudgment, unfortunately, for Fibex. Tessa said to you, Adam, that this Monaco GP would be so much better if Ben were driving and steering into people. She likes to see you get murdered then, clearly. Is this Fimex's POV? This is Fimex's POV, okay. See, I don't expect he's too happy with this. Well, no reaction, but yeah, clear as day. Big mistake there for Gwatz. Honestly, that probably should be a penalty for Gwatz. Like, straight up. He's DNF'd someone out of a race by a bad send. I can guarantee you, if that was like Ben on Karim or somebody, or me on Ben, everybody would be absolutely raging about it. The comments would be going off, and there probably would be a penalty. And as much as I do think we should give a little bit more slack to the people down the order, I think that one probably does need a genuine penalty. That one is quite bad. Someone's DNF from it. It's not like there's been a small whoopsie and he's accidentally squeezed him and maybe he's a little bit damaged. He's DNF from it. That one is pretty bad. Okay, Karim Quali Bottle, hello. This is my kind of clip. My kind of clip. Yeah. Very easy to do. And we know Dr. Karim absolutely loves a bottle. He absolutely loves a bottle. At Monaco, you can't be doing that. He only had a 10-4 under his belt. Not good enough. And then, just to follow that up, we've got his lap 4 DNF.
Oh my god.
I mean, to be honest, I heard about this during the race. Can we pause, please? I heard about this during the race. It sounded like Karim was blameless. That is not my initial reaction to that. Obviously, it's not Karim's fault because he's got a car sideways. But the car in front goes that way. I can see that the car's rolling back right as he approaches, so I kind of get it. But he's barely braking.
Oh my god.
Hang on.
Oh my god.
He finishes saying, "Oh my god," before he makes any reaction on the pedals. Like, literally, listen, look, I'll pause it straight after he says, "Oh my god." And bear in mind that "oh my god" takes seeing what's happening, processing what's happening in your brain, deciding to say something, making it come out of your mouth, like, that should be quite a lot behind taking action.
Oh my god.
I've just paused it a fraction afterwards, so he does react as soon as he says, oh my god. He's just finished says, oh my god, that. He's still full throttle. Like, that's bad incident avoidance. In fact, we've got Hayden in chat. Hayden is actually probably the best in Creator Series at incident avoidance. I guarantee you Hayden would not have probably even got any damage from this, let alone DNF from it. Because Hayden would have, first and foremost, jammed on the brakes, which is obviously the better decision rather than just saying, oh my god. And B, probably would have gone the other side, which was, with hindsight, the right way to go. But I get it. Tom was rolling backwards as he sees him.
Wow, that was
Not
a
good.
heck of an impact.
Just like, brake. Why did he say, oh my god, before he
Wow, that was a
brakes?
heck of an impact. Let me know you're okay.
And he's not very happy. Hold on.
Wow, that was a heck of an impact. Let me know you're okay.
Not very happy, is he? Not very happy at all. And that's why I was so happy with my P2. At Monaco, anything can go wrong. So P2 is very good. But yeah, Crim bottle, honestly. I'm calling that a Crim bottle. Straight up. Yeah, we will watch Tom 87's POV, yeah. Is that anywhere near the... Sure, it's here somewhere in the Clipbook channel. The problem is Hayden has absolutely spammed. I'm not going to watch all of Hayden's clips because there's way too many. Hayden's literally sent about 20 clips. Bro's desperate to be in the Clipbook. Right, let's go find Tom 87's POV from his actual channel. Crim could have hit. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's the other thing is if Crim hit him differently, he also would have survived. Like, you could also be smart with how you hit somebody.
Go ahead.
Positive delta.
Oh, let me find it. Here we go. Here we go. I do one race a year, let me have my spotlight. Nah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'll watch a couple. You can pick 3, Hayden. Pick the 3 best ones. Woo. It's just your classic Tom 97 bottle. Oh, he did drive forward a bit.
Okay, caution, caution. Virtual safety car is out.
He did drive...
Speed and maintain.
Interesting. I didn't spot that before. It doesn't excuse it. Crim's still bottled. I didn't know he drove forward, though. I've gone back so far. So, what happens here? He's in hot lap mode. I think... Did he just stay in hot... Yeah, he just stays in hot lap mode. This is why my ERS strategy is different from most, is because there's a big power difference, power curve difference in being in none, medium, hot lap, and boost. There's a massive difference. Like, none has got barely any power at all. You can basically floor it on every corner exit, whereas boost has got loads of power if you do the same. So, clearly Tom is used to driving with medium. Then add the curb bounce, the dirty air, and the fact he's in hot lap. Just gets too much on the power and goes round. That's it. Woo. But then here, does accelerate a bit. I do think makes Karim's DNF a bit worse. But to be fair to Tom, he does then after that just sit there holding his hands up going...
I'm just not moving.
Just waiting, which probably is the right decision.
I've got to move.
Okay, safety car deployed. Safety car's been deployed.
Go, Tom, go.
Delta. Make sure you keep it positive.
Yeah, nice. He judged that well afterwards. To be fair, I don't begrudge him for the initial movement because he knows he's stopped in the middle of the track. He knows he's got to do something because he's pretty much blocking the track here and he's aware of that. So there, obviously, look, it looks like he's only like a metre from the track, so it makes sense to accelerate a bit here to get out of the way. And actually, if Crim goes the other side, which he probably should have done, Tom accelerates enough to get out of the way of everybody and doesn't cause any further issue. But, yeah. Yeah, it's just your classic Tom 97 bottle, really, isn't it? Just your classic Tom 97 bottle. That means say penalty for Adam. What? The spinner? Did his best. Right. Holy crash out from Mango. This sounds interesting.
Wait, we got
Or the movement. Like, it's Monaco. He feels like he's blocking the track. He's trying to get out of the way, and it seems like he's really close. I think it's fair. I don't think the movement's any issue.
I'm gonna upgrade it, guys.
Oh my god.
Wait, we gotta upgrade it somewhere else. I'm gonna upgrade it, guys.
What?
Are you
Oh
okay? That was a big one. Confirm you're okay, please.
my god.
No. What? What? Then what? What?
No way. Wow.
Wait, we gotta upgrade it somewhere.
So he's stopping to try and get the vehicle, because you're allowed to in Creator Series upgrade the VSC to a full safety car. So that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to do it here. He obviously has failed. He decides to do it somewhere else, but he just floors the throttle in medium. In first gear, he goes full throttle. Clearly no traction control. Well, actually, he might have traction control. Traction control off the line, often lets you wheel spin a bit. But
Guys.
and look, that's what happened to, you see. He didn't hit them all hard. That's what could have happened to me with Razin.
Upgraded, guys.
What?
Are you okay? That was a big one. Confirm you're okay.
I love his reaction though.
Nah.
That's incredible. He picks up for me. Okay. Wait, Mango Wash, is that the same thing? This might be the same clip.
Virtual safety car.
That has to be a safety car, right? Let's upgrade it.
Yeah, same clip, isn't it? Same clip.
Let's upgrade.
Right, let's have a look at Hayden's race start. Sorry, Jean-Marie's race
Here in
start.
Monaco, the lights are on, the engine's revving, and we go.
I was explaining why he had his whoopsie.
Last stop.
I can explain why. It's the F125 habit that cost me. Medium is the de facto none from the old cars. Kind of, yeah. I guess. I was in medium, but I went to hot lap subconsciously without looking before swim pool, so I put the power down. See, in the previous cars, you'd have gone hot lap. Is that what you're saying? A bit confused. Anyway. Right, let's have a look at Hayden's race start.
And we go.
Oh, if you were none, you'd have gone medium?
Racing.
I guess. That's
Last
a
stop,
pretty
the
poor
Red Bull.
excuse.
Scully Designs have been kicked from the session.
Oh, you thought about going for Ricky. Probably wise not to.
Side by side.
Exit.
Up the hill, we
Already got the
that.
boost
Okay,
switched
let's
off, which is surprising, but it works out.
Nice and easy. Great start.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh dear.
Oops. Who's driving flat out into that section?
Okay, caution. Virtual safety car is out.
Pretty good incident avoidance here. Good example, actually, of the incident avoidance I was talking about with Hateful. Look, I mean, look what he's presented with here. I mean, the fact that he ended up avoiding this with nothing but a little bit of contact.
Oops.
That was
Who's
about Hayden's
driving
incident
flat out into
avoidance.
that-
Yeah, what happens to back 2-1-2 here then? So, does he just get hit by grid jokes?
Nice and easy. Great start.
He does. He does. I need to see Matt 2-1-2's reaction to this. I suspect he's not very happy. Should we find out? Lap 1, I don't know which start that is. Hayden, do you know which start that is? Matt 2-1-2's live.
From what I saw, apparently, I think from what I saw, Grid Jokes was going to hit me, and then Ricky also drove through him.
We're talking about it. Clearly, someone in chat is informing him what we're talking about today. Yeah, I don't know which race start that is. The main race, the third one. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's he's the main. I was about to be like, which one's the main?
I know. I don't think you can stop and make it.
Can stop making safety goes wrong. All right, let's watch about 2-1-2 start. Should we? My teammate this season, no less.
Difficult trying to get the power down.
Just sound out of sync.
Oh, Scotty's already.
Sounds is very out of sync. Weird.
That bodes well, doesn't it?
The grid jokes is 4 tenths back from up at the top of the hill. Oh, he's very slow into there.
Yeah. Who's absolutely pile driven me? Love that. No idea who that was.
Virtual safety car. Reduce speed immediately.
I said I guarantee you this will be the one that works.
You know where mine's going. If you drive unexpectedly slowly, you can't be surprised when someone doesn't expect you to be driving slowly and they hit you in the back. Now, obviously, it's the responsibility of the car behind to not hit the car in front. But if we're in a straight and I jam on the brakes unexpectedly and the car behind hits me, that isn't the car behind's fault. Now, obviously, it's nowhere near as extreme as that. And I do think this is on grid jokes, but I do think Matt does go too slowly into this corner. And if he went a bit quicker into this corner, bear in mind he's got a 4/10 gap at this stage to the cars in front. It's not like he's right on them and has to go slowly. If he went just a little bit quicker, he wouldn't have got smashed into. He's really slow there. Really, really cautious. And just catches grid jokes off guard. But it is grid jokes' fault ultimately. But I don't think Matt's blameless. I'm going 80-20 on grid jokes.
Oh, great, yeah.
For that.
Who's absolutely pile driven me?
I'm sure people will disagree with that one. That's the issue in Create Series is differing abilities. I don't think that was what that was, though, because Matt's faster than that. He was just overly cautious. Tom and Raz are having an argument. Right, what else have we got? Where is it? Is it the bottom of this channel? Hayden sent. Okay, Hayden sent 4 clips. All right, we'll have the Hayden Gullis show just for a moment, and then we'll move on to no more Hayden Gullis show. So this is an overtake he wants us to see.
Ah, double stacking slightly. That's annoying. Come on,
Push a
guys.
lot.
Come on, come on.
So slow, isn't it?
Tires.
I really wish they would implement better double stacking in the game. Hopefully do for F127. That is the sort of thing they could do for F127, considering they're redoing a lot of things.
Oh, no.
Why did Hayden want us to see that? Well, that's one of Hayden's clips out of the way, nice and early. I don't know why he's chosen that one, but sure. Fine. Just Hayden Gullis things. Right, this one's an overtake. Oh. Made the same noise as me, that's funny. Oh.
Will he kill me then? Running outside.
Very nicely done.
I'll leave the room.
Very nicely done.
Chat. What a move.
Very, very nicely done. I have to say, very, very nicely done that. So this is a good example of somebody driving slower than you expect them to, and he almost hits Fimex. But I don't know if there's a massive tyre difference. If there's a massive tyre difference, you've got to expect someone to brake a bit early. So here he gets a good run on him. He's in boost mode. But if you watch, the light of Fimex starts flashing, which in the game means he's... I think it means he's not deploying at all. Not 100% on that. But anyway, it definitely means he's not in boost mode. He's not deploying full power. So his light's flashing. His Hayden's got more power here, but him darting about just about allows him to stay behind. And gets up the inside. He's got wing damage as well. Notes for Mex. That is really, really tight. That's really nicely judged. Just goes a bit deep, so jams on the brakes a little bit. Causes a bit of a slide. Keeps it out the wall. Fimex leaves him room as well. Same thing here. Really tight, but really nicely judged by both.
Running outside.
Gets the exit. And I think most people would have turned in here. Hayden opts to be quite cautious and leave him a bit of room. Because, quite frankly, there's nothing to be gained by turning in other than maybe a tenth of a second. So, yeah, nicely done. Nice move that by Hayden. You want to save age tyres? Okay, so he's just braking pretty early then, so that's a good example of it. Then we've got one more Hayden Gullis clip called Matt Kills Me, right? Okay, I'm keen for this. Let's see this. Okay, we're in quali. This is for wet pole. He's eating ice cream for some reason. There's Matt behind on slicks. How the hell is he not DNF'd from that, please? I'm sorry. There's been a bit of discussion after the fact about this. Hayden here is A, eating an ice cream, so clearly not driving the car properly. B, it's after the 12-minute cut-off, which means even if he sets the best lap anyone's ever seen on wet tyres around a dry Monaco, he does get nothing for it. There's no reason for him to be on this lap. So Matt behind is on a slick lap. It's Monaco qualifying. He's trying to improve his time. And Hayden is an absolute donkey in front of him. That being said, obviously, it's always responsibility of the car behind to overtake safely and to not make contact. Regardless of all that, although I don't think Hayden should be doing this lap, but regardless of that, it is still Matt's responsibility to get through fairly. Here, though, Hayden turns in on him. Where's Hayden going? Look at Hayden's wheel angle. If Matt doesn't exist, Hayden hits his apex. But there's a car there that's got more grip. Regardless of any of the stuff I said before, this is on Hayden. Hayden's called this Matt Kills Me. I think Hayden almost kills himself on Matt. Oh. Like he just turns in on him. There. Where's he going? All of that's on Hayden. For me. I mean, hang on. Let's. Is it Matt 2-on-2? Let's go on board with Matt 2-on-2. I need to see this. Qualifying, 12 minutes in qualifying,
Yeah, exactly. Hayden should have backed out.
isn't it? I love it. Every time we go, we hear Matt talking about it.
I could have tried to give him more room, but I'm on a legitimate qualifying run. He's not. He shouldn't be there in the first place.
I love it. I absolutely love that we
I'm not planning on doing a one-stop.
chat speaking about him, so we literally get his reaction to it
Absolute
just after.
closer for me.
Right, go back to quality.
Not as much. Yeah, the Haas livery is a nice one.
He hasn't got permanent session timer, so we're gonna have to try and judge
I like
this.
it. First of all, Leo Flag. So
Not here.
back and qualify. You don't
Not here.
commit to it. I've just read your message, Daisy.
Not here.
Whoa.
Really this late in quality? Oh, here he is. Here we go.
Okay, just 2 laps of fuel remaining now.
So after the 12-minute timer, but it is still Matt's supposed to come through cleanly. Yeah, that is frustrating. He was defensive.
What is he doing?
I mean, Matt does nothing wrong.
No idea what he's trying to do.
Matt does nothing wrong. Like, even if you take out the frustrations of the fact that he's on a slick lap, Hayden's on a wet lap, which he doesn't need to be on, even if you ignore all that stuff, because Hayden is theoretically entitled to do what he wants to do. I don't think he should be trying to run on wet. Same don't think he should be driving backwards and taking people out, but whatever. Technically, he's entitled to do what he wants to do. But even if you take that out, I don't know why he's on defensive there, but he has, fine. So then Matt goes around his outside. Then Hayden squeezes him. So then Matt backs out, the right thing to do.
What's he doing?
Goes to the switchback, doesn't quite get it. Fairly alongside there, as in he got alongside fairly, considering he's got much more grip. Of course he's going to go for here. Obviously, you don't normally want to be side by side through here, but Matt's got grip, Hayden hasn't, and he's still not. He's on a qualifying lap. And there's a bit of contact. He's pretty much on his apex. Bit of contact drags him wide. 100% on Hayden. Matt does nothing wrong. He does nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing. Right, hold on.
Yeah, Perez, yeah, must have lined up in the wrong grid spot. Ooh, that was aggressive against. Actually, it's off on, it's allowed.
Gonna talk about it?
Okay. We're diving everybody.
Nah, no one's telling him at the moment.
Yeah, I'm going to assume Alonso crashed into...
I was able to get his instant reaction to that on stream. We'll just wait a second. Jackson, wide as a stretch. Yeah, but if Hayden doesn't turn in, I'm pretty sure he's ahead of him anyway before the apex. There's a massive delta between the tyres.
So many of the AI are on the side.
Nah, he's not reacting right now. Yeah, Matt does nothing wrong. Does nothing wrong. I'll give myself a year penalty. See you next year for Monaco. Very good. Anyway, right. Moving on. Any other clips? Still go through the list here for now. And after we've done that, if there's anything that I haven't seen, you guys are free to let me know. So, a billion from Hayden. We're going to ignore all of those. We've seen plenty from Hayden. Hayden. Yeah, okay, here we go. Don't get wrong, I'm glad people are putting clips in the channel. I'd rather that than nobody put anything, but it's a lot. Don't boost mid-corner. Oh dear, I think we all know what we're about to see here from F1 Alex. Oh, traction controls helped though. My word. Traction control worked hard for him there.
He's very lucky then.
Again, traction control saved him with the boost. Whew.
Oh, it was fucking scary.
And that is actually a really good example of traction control actually holding you back a little bit. Because not only is it quite literally holding him back on pace, but also obviously it's basically teaching him bad habits. He's going to boost in like second and third gear. Without traction control, you are going to have a big slide doing that while full throttle. So he's basically learned bad habits via traction control and then is using those bad habits in the corner causing slides. So yeah, there you go. Next. That guy Vince, what a battle. Alpines go to war. I mean, this sounds like the greatest clip we've ever seen. So, Vince and his teammate from X. Oh, that was tight. Let's hit him. Well, very cautious. Very cautious. On the outside. Oh, tries to do Razin. Oh, that's deep. Oh, somehow doesn't damage his wing. Oh my
Come on,
god.
how am I getting track limits there? We're too wide. Holy shit.
Because you're too wide,
I don't know how we
Vince.
stayed too wide for so long. Me getting a track limit there was horrendous, though. Holy.
Oh, this is Twitch's new like auto caption thing. It's quite cool. Vince has just got to go for it more. Vince is actually pretty good at defense. I'll give him credit where it's due on defense. Attacking, he's way too passive. Like when you're here, if you're going to go for a move, go for the move. For starters, he doesn't even come all the way over and almost hits his wing off his teammate and damages his wing. That's not smart. So it needs to be further left before that to guarantee that happen. That allows you to brake later and get more ahead of the apex. Instead, he's almost backing out here. Almost. But fine. And then here he goes to move on the outside, which is brave. Should we call it brave? This is beautiful. Brakes just late enough to just about graze the wall. No damage. But then here, I don't think you can be surprised when there's a warning. It's easy to do when you're side by side, but he's decided to go for it.
Oh, come on.
But then surely from here, he's got to get the move
How
done.
am I getting track limits there?
Again,
We're too wide.
very, very passive.
Holy shit. I don't know how we stayed too wide for so long.
And it still doesn't send it here.
Me getting a track limit there was horrendous, though.
He should have got that move done several corners before he did, I think. Don't blame me because I'm the only person helping out the clip team. Yeah, fair. That's what I mean. I'd rather that than no clips. Oh, then we've got Fimex's POV of the same thing. I don't know if this will particularly tell us anything new, but let's have a look. Pepper, if you keep it clean, go for a non-collision overtake. Yeah, to some extent, but if you're too passive, you just end up holding everyone up, costing everybody time. Fimex takes a big lift there. Well, what do you think about that? Getting a warning. Getting a warning while defending. Definitely a bit dodgy. Probably should have given the position back, but this is a great series. Okay. Aiden. Maurice and Karim's quality DNF. VSC robbery, says Karim. Can't expect to not lose. So, yeah, but no, like, don't get me wrong. Like, Ben.
Oh my god.
Ben does the other extreme, right? And Ben's like, oh, cannot lose any time. I'm either going to go for it or you're going to back out, whatever. Like, Ben is not interested in being side-by-side ever. So, Ben, that's why often Ben turns in on people and stuff, because he's like, what are you doing? We need to be getting on with it. Ben is like the opposite end of the spectrum to that, which is too much as well. So, yeah, you got to expect to lose a bit of time. But, like, if you're going to go for it, just go for it. Don't just do these weird, like, quarter sends. Odd. Anyway. So, this is the VSC restart.
Oh my god. I'm the
That
fucking
triple
goat.
overtake.
3.
Okay, mate, that was
Then gets
illegal.
It was
3
green
illegals.
flags.
That position or we'll receive
Wasn't.
a penalty.
That's just a lie. Ah, it's brutal though, isn't it? Like, loses 4 as well.
I've been robbed.
That is absolutely brutal. I feel from here because he's on the yeah, it says ending. He's got 1.2 seconds over the delta. Disappears briefly there, which looks like that's when it ended, but it doesn't, so he accelerates. But regardless, he's still got loads in the delta, so he's all good to accelerate. And now it has ended. He's got a huge jump on these guys. Normally that's green flag, but because they're slow, because they've misjudged the restart, and in fact I've seen who's the front runner? I've seen Ben's POV. Ben actually jams on the brakes here, which causes a yellow flag. So then, when Crim goes for it with the yellow flag, somewhat rightly gets the illegal overtake. To be honest, in the F1 game, I wish we didn't have illegals for yellow flags. It doesn't do anything. Yes, under safety car. Yes, under VSC. But yellow flag, like, yellow flag should be there purely to warn you that there's probably something in the next part of the track. That's it. Don't give me a legal overtake. Don't give me no overtake mode. That's a big one this year. That's one that a lot of people are moaning about. If there's yellow flags in quali, somewhere, you lose overtake mode, which costs you quite a lot of power in quali. So I think they should get rid of all that for yellow flags, honestly, in the F1 game. Why I didn't get a pen? Yeah, true. With 3, could have got an instant pen. Yeah, that was 5 from Crim. Should have been rewarded. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think he deserves it. Whereas let's look at Ben by comparison. Which restart this is? I've got his potato quality downloaded when I was looking for the overtakes earlier, so I can get through that a bit quicker. It is lap. And lap 1. Okay, it's not that race. Hang on a sec, chat. On it. That one must be the other one. First restart. Yep, here it is. So this is Ben getting the safety car restart completely wrong. Just misjudged it, really. Again, it is confusing because briefly the delta disappears. So there, it looks like it's gone. But then look, you can see by Ben's face, he's a bit shocked because then suddenly gets the delta back, and then obviously he's actually nailed that restart. If it ends here, he's nailed it. But unfortunately, it doesn't. So he gets the delta back, and now he's under. And we all know that if you're under on a VSC restart, you get a 10-second penalty. So he's now just got to jow on the brakes and hope no one pile drives into him from behind. He's quite lucky they didn't, and he just gets back under the delta in time. Look, check this out. So you've got the delta on the top right. As soon as this disappears over here is when it ends. So red, 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 braking, braking, red, 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 red. Still red. And it has actually just ended. But clearly something internal in the game has gone green. Because he is under. We know that because he's been slowing down. There you go. And now the delta disappears. So very, very lucky for Ben there to not... Oh, was it a drive-through? Very, very lucky for Ben there to not get a penalty. But I say lucky. Bit of a glitch with OSD to disappear, make it look like he was going racing. So I guess that would have been unlucky rather than lucky that he didn't. But still. But yeah, also fortunate to not cause a massive crash, to be honest. Jamming the brakes on like that on a restart would normally cause a crash. First restart luck, says Krim. What's this? Ooh, that's nice. Did that open up for him? What a treat.
Oh my god.
That never happens at Monaco. When was the last time the outside line worked at Monaco, please? He's P8 going into this corner. Ah, I see. It's Ben launching the two people in front into the wall. Bunch 7 up. Razin gets caught behind the AI. It's probably not smart by Razin. But then, how often does the racing line open up for you at Monaco? It just doesn't happen. He gets the exit. Lovely jubbly. And up to P5.
Oh my god.
Wow. What a start by Karim. Alright, what else have we got? Cheeky battle with Razin from Krim again. Oh, a bit hesitant there, but thought he might come back to the race line, so he doesn't, so he goes for it. Wrong side. Ooh.
Virtual safety car. Reduce
Don't
speed
make contact.
immediately and keep a positive delta.
Got it done. Got it done. VSC was good timing from that. Oh. That's the penalty, surely. What are they all doing?
I feel like I had that place.
Well, let's see. Let's see. We can be the judges here quite easily. Because we've got the positions here, and so there's a yellow right now. So to be fair, technically speaking, right now it's an illegal overtake because it's yellow, but we'll ignore that. We don't like those rules. Because also, most of the time, you don't get illegal from a yellow anyway, so ignore that. It goes green anyway. Oh, technically, by the slimmest of margins, Razin was right to come back through.
Virtual safety car.
Oh, it's still showing Razin ahead. Now it's showing Razin behind. Hang on, let's check that. Cause that right. I mean, here's when it gets called, and he clearly is behind. Takes a while for the OSD to catch up, but it was called there. Now it's on the OSD. He looks ahead there though. Anyway, I don't begrudge. I think if I was in Krim's position, I'd absolutely think I had that as well, because he definitely felt like he was ahead when that got called. But technically speaking, he wasn't. But that's very much a technicality. I'm very surprised that him or Jake doesn't get a penalty for that contact. Normally, it's very, very harsh with contact under a VSC.
I feel like I had that place.
But yeah, in the end, it's fair. Ben took me legally. I think it was this. I saw Ben's POV this. I think it was the same for Ben. I think it was the same for Ben. Should we go find Ben's POV again? This lap. What was it? Lap 1 again. Oh, which was this? First start? No. I don't want the last start. Seconds. Did see this and I didn't think it was illegal at the time. What must have been the first one? Wait, that was the first one. Second one. Do you know which one it was, Tom? Hold on. What? Here we go. It's this one. Cool. All right, took me a while. Race 3, yeah, they get it's on. Sorry, end up figuring out my own. Start with potato quality again. So, loves this dive down the outside. So again, similar sort of thing. We'll look for the VSC. Again, the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. Technically, yes, Tom was ahead when this gets called. In reality, if I'm Ben, I'm also thinking I'm ahead there. I think we all are, aren't we? I think they're both fine. Because also, you know, we're doing technicalities. It's a great series.
George Basin just subscribed on Twitch.
Thank you, George. Let's see what's up. 34 months subscribe. Appreciate you. We've got Krim with a lovely overtake. Oh, Razin got napping. Anyway, that is actually sweet, to be fair. That is sweet. Very, very nicely judged. Razin was caught napping, but still very, very nicely judged. Get this just right up the inside to make just let enough that you want to try and get a bit more ahead here, like that. Get ahead. We'll get at least level with the apex while also not pushing him wide. Don't think there was any contact there. It was very, very close. Maybe some very minor contact, but that was really nicely done. Really nicely done by Krim.
Bye-bye.
Play. And then we've got one final one, unless you guys have got anything else. DNF curse. We've already seen this. We've seen this. Okay, that's it. That's it then. Have you guys got anything else that I've missed? Let me know in chat. But yeah, other than that, guys, I think the Monaco Grand Prix was a good one. I think I just think it's not necessarily going to be representative of the future races because battery was almost non-existent at Monaco. I've also done a bit of research into battery since. And know how to use it a bit better now. So Barcelona's going to be very interesting. So yeah, we will see. We will see what happens in the next race. Because Barcelona, in fact, let me check. I think Barcelona is a somewhat energy critical track. Graphs. Here we go. Spain on here. Go Spain. Barcelona wasn't down there, was it? Was this been reordered by the 2026? I think that's where Madrid is. I think it's ordered wrong. That's actually Madrid. But anyway, that's Barcelona. So yes, it is a relatively energy starved track. Is the answer to the question. Razin. Oh yeah, Razin Lolly. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's a great one. I completely forgot about that. Yes, absolutely. I have. Where did I see this then? I've seen it somewhere. Was it not in this? Oh, there was just arguments in the main chat. Look.
1 second, sorry.
Eccoci qua, perfetto.
Ho un'idea. Non ti puoi sbagliare. Ragazzi, come state tutti? What? Via, 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 via.
Disponibile.
E giustamente Rasino so il figlio di quella... Vince la gara.
Alright, so this is Razin up, Lolly up behind Razin now that I've just got him. Ooh, now that was moving in the braking. But Lolly didn't really go for this. Doesn't really excuse it, but Lolly's got to go for that. Lolly's not very good at going for moves. But that was definitely some moving and braking. I assume that's what Lolly's saying now. We'll assume that's what he's saying. Okay, all over him again. Oh, why are you pushing him? Then you got to go for it or don't bother. Oh, why are you pushing him? Especially when you're in Italy and Razin's in the UK. And this is what's frustrating Razin at the time. We'll watch Razin's POV in a second, but stop pushing him. That's exactly Razin's frustration.
Raga, devo fare il terrorista per passare. Bello fare il buono, ragazzi, ma non mi vogliate male se succederà qualsiasi cosa, eh. Mi sono rotto il cazzo a sta così. Ho capito che è inutile.
And this is where Razin loses his head a little bit here. Just fully blocks him in a straight. 2 wrongs don't make a right, we know that. The Lolly keeps pushing him, Razin keeps blocking him.
Apprezzo infinitamente e ci vediamo domani, Razin.
I don't know what he's saying, but yeah, I think we need to see Razin's POV. So basically, Lolly keeps pushing Razin. It frustrates Razin. He loses his head and he blocks him in a straight.
Okay, I've got wind damage.
2 wrongs don't make a right. I do think Lolly shouldn't be pushing Razin. Absolutely.
Well, he's just dirty drive. Can you
go back all the way?
I don't understand.
I do think Lolly should not be pushing Razin. Absolutely. That being said, it's a lot worse to be blocking somebody in the straight and swiping across them when they're slightly alongside you than it is just to nudge somebody a bit in the corner. I know it's frustrating to be nudged into a corner and they shouldn't be doing that. But in the F1 game, that's to some extent part of the course. I called it at the time on board with Lolly. I don't like it. Here, look, push.
What is going on, man?
Obviously, Razin's slow. He's got older tyres and he's got wing damage. And pushed here again. There you go. Then Razin loses his head.
Stop pushing me, man. Stop pushing me, bro.
The car behind is gaining on you by 5
Is he?
tenths a lap.
What is he?
And then swiping across on something like that.
I don't understand what Lolly was doing, bro. He's just.
To me, Lolly's not being clean, and I think, for me, the right outcome here is Lolly should be warned and just say, look, don't push people, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, why? If it's a slower driver in front, you don't just push them out of the way. Like, you're supposed to not be making contact. Don't push. But then for me, Razin should actually get something for this. Because, yes, it's absolutely frustrating that Lolly's pushing. He shouldn't be doing that.
Man.
It's worse to come across him there when he's slightly alongside and then come back again to block him. And there he gets pushed more by Lolly, which isn't good.
Is he?
And then here, look, and what is that? What Razin's only intention there is to crash into Lolly.
Is he?
Just because you lost your head doesn't excuse driving badly. I don't care where your head's at. So here, look how much he's turning right. He's clearly alongside. Look, that's his wheel. He's there, and he's turning right quite heavily. There's a bit of a snap, and then goes back to turning right. He deserved to spin.
I don't understand what Lolly was doing, bro. He's just pushing me to constantly.
Ruined my race. Oh, was Tom right there? Yeah, actually, let's go more with Tom. Where's you right there, Tom? 26.
What?
Oh, don't mind that.
Why am I hearing things up ahead?
Yeah. There we go.
I'm angry to slap it back there.
Oh. Okay, go.
Zaf's there backing out. Very passive. I think Zaf's was on all tyres though.
Fabio's going to get through as well. You can try.
Update, neither driver's reported this until they do. We'll let them deal with themselves.
He's done it.
Yeah, I kind of get it, but
the tyres must be a little bit knackered now. Yeah, they're feeling bad.
First major pushes.
Oh my god, I gained so much there. Holy hell. Good jokes on the wall.
How do they push here?
Okay, Razin.
Yeah, see, Tom's calling it straight away.
That's not the play, bro. That's not the play. Is he doing a bit of a madness? It's 2 moves. Like, you can't be doing 2 moves. There we go. There we go.
And there you go. You just ruined someone else's race.
Bro.
Ruin someone else's race. Like, just because you've lost your head. Because someone... And look, someone is driving dirty. I'm not going to mince my word. Like, Lolly is driving dirty there by nudging into him. And I'm sure Lolly will happily blame lag. But you know there's lag. It's not like, oh, I got lag for that split second. I don't normally get lag. Like, if there is any lag, you know there's lag. Lolly is just driving to the back of him, though. You can see it from his POV. He is driving to the back of him. That is dirty. But then Razin's response is to block him illegally and then to smash to the side of him and spin out. The lost head is the worst part. Tom's race gets ruined. Tom, at this stage, is just got up to P4. Tom was fighting for a podium here. So yeah, not good. Not good. Order 5 chicken nuggets, please. Wrong place, Tom. Wrong place. It's half a lap pushing, but it doesn't matter. 2 wrongs don't make a right. I don't care. Even if somebody has just swiped you and taken you out, that doesn't give you the right to swipe them and take them back. Unless you're in an open lobby, maybe, and then, like, you know, the dirty driver maybe deserves some dirty driving back. But in something like Creative Series or something anywhere with any rules or any stewards, that's not how you deal with it. That's not how you deal with it. Being dirty in response makes you just as bad as them. You're not any better than them just because they started it. Oh, great, but you're also dirty now. And in fact, Razin is more dirty. But because of Razin's frustration about a dirty driver, he's now looked like the dirtier driver because he has been. That is worse than what Lolly did. But it just doesn't excuse it. Just doesn't excuse it. Call me Karim. I don't think there's a lot you could have done to avoid that, to be fair, Tom. Alex is right. Hayden, is that the first time you typed those words? I'm enjoying it, though. Always better send the clip for us to review rather than crash on track. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, just bad driving. Just bad driving. Right, anything else, chat? Anything else I missed from the... I'm glad you reminded me about that one. That was the spiciest moment from the entire race. I forgot to put that one in my notes, so thank you, chat. Is there anything else I've missed? I think that might be it now. We've been going for 2.5 hours, but that didn't include real life F1. It was a split-second decision. This was 40 seconds of pushing. Doesn't matter. If I split-second decide to swipe somebody, that's not better than anything else. I've still swiped somebody, whether it's a split-second decision or not. You're right on beans on toast. Giving you, hey, let me show you. Let me show you what I sent to Razin the other day. Let me show you what I sent to Razin the other day. I don't mess about my beans on toast. Oh, yeah. Beans. Branston beans, by the way. Chorizo on toast with lots of butter. Razin showed me this. Slopping juice, just how I like it. You can even get beans on toast in the Netherlands, Hayden. Chorizo. Chorizo makes it. I love chorizo. And chorizo absolutely makes this dish. It's so good. I call it a dish. Okay, I've overstayed it there, I'll be honest. But still. I'm going to to stream your dinner. Well, unfortunately, Nell's cooked me dinner. I can smell it. It's fish and chips tonight. So it's mostly pre-prepared. Although she does make the chips herself. Splendid. Disgusting, says Tom. And Benjamin says, splendid. Honestly, if you're remotely interested in beans on toast, whack some chorizo in. You can buy it in a packet from like Tesco. Pre-diced chorizo. Whole packet of those in your beans while you heat them up. Stir it all in. Whack it on your toast. Mwah. Mwah. Perfecto. Perfect. Send this to Lolly. Send this to get Lolly on the hype. He'll love a beans on toast, I'm sure. Did you want any toasty beans? Hey, come on, Crib. Come on, Crib. You're a grown-ass man. Don't tell me you're buying those little half tins of beans. Don't even tell me that a grown-ass man is putting a half tin of beans on some toast. Get out. Beans on toast, you're having 2 slices, you're having a whole tin of beans. Non-negotiable as a grown man. As a child, absolutely fine. Do what you want. Well, that's your choices, Karim. Grown man or child. You think beans and bread is an excuse? Can you get baked beans in the Netherlands? I mean, I can guarantee you're one of the 0.01% that's eating beans on toast in the Netherlands, Hayden. But I don't even know if you could get baked beans. Do you have to go to like the special international section to get baked beans? Said I'd scram at the presentation is awful. What do you mean? Presentation's elite. Like beans with tuna. I don't like tuna. I know bread toasters. I don't know baked beans were available in the Netherlands. Yeah, I will accept cheese for most of you. I'm not a cheese guy, so there's no cheese for me. I will accept that most of you would put cheese on it and enjoy it more. Is that pork beans? No, it's just, I don't know, are there pinto beans in a tin of beans in the UK? Also, sometimes a little bit of hot sauce as well. Mix it up a little bit. That helps. Or yesterday I had some chili beans, like Heinz chili beans. They're good. They're good. Get Heinz here? Oh, there you go. Do it in a jar? Oh, that is a bit wild. Too many beat. No, come on. Come on. You're a grown-ass man, I assume. I reckon even a grown woman who have slightly lower calorie intake daily than men on average, this is still like, it's probably like 600 calories. It's quite a lot for a lunch, which is surely it's mainly a lunch, but it's probably a bit more actually with the chorizo. It's definitely more than that. It's probably more like 800 calories of fat. I need to look this up. Hold on. I also have thick toast. So Hovis, this is elite content. Hovis thick white bread calories. 117 calories. So we're already at 230 calories. Then we go Branston beans calories. That's 175 per half can. So that's 350. That's 580. We're at 580 for just the beans. And then, I don't even know, Tesco chorizo diced. What did I say we're at? I've forgotten already. 580? Diced chorizo. Yeah, this is the one. This is the one. Let me show you exactly what it is. That's the one. That's the goat. Flashbang, sorry. This is... Right. There we go. That's the one. Just a cheeky little packet of these. Already pre-cut, already portioned. Whack it in. Job done. 580 plus these would be a lot. These would be like 300 on their own. Yeah, more or less 250. So that's 830. I said 800 calories. 830 plus the butter. 830 plus the butter. So you are probably knocking on the door of 1,000 calories, which is a big lunch. I'll be real with you, but it's not inedible. I'm going to say it's always been curious to eat that dish, but all I see is canned pork. Oh, so this is canned port and beans, or beans with hickory sauce. Oh, what? As in what's available in the US? Yeah. Yeah. Bob's your uncle. Why is Alex doing his weekly shop on the stream? It's got to be done. It's got to be done. Right, I think it's time we leave it there, chat. I'm going to eat some fish and chips. Lots and lots of vinegar as well. Vinegar's the goat. A little bit of curry sauce. A little bit of curry sauce, fish and chips. It's got to be done. Anyway, that's it from me, chat. Why do we always talk about food? Thank you for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed the Clipbook. It's back. The Clipbook is back, baby. Yeah, that's it. I will catch you guys tomorrow. We're going to do more Antonelli Korea, but we're going to do it as a Challenge Tuesday. I'd like to bring back Challenge Tuesday in 2026, if possible. Challenge Tuesday. So we're going to mix it up a little bit tomorrow. We'll do 4 or 5 races, 25% distance races. So look forward to that. I'll be live. I want to go food shopping, weirdly, in the evening tomorrow. So I will be live a little bit earlier. Try and go live early afternoonish. But as always, got a lot. I mean, thank you to everyone who's bought VSC setups, by the way. You absolute legends have been supporting VSC extremely strongly this year. Looking like the best year ever. Every year has been seeing quite significant growth, and it's absolutely amazing to see. As more and more of you supporting VSC, buying into what we're doing, and it's very much appreciated to spend your hard-earned money, especially this year when the DLC is so cheap. So to still be spending £50 on a full set of setups is very, very much appreciated. But yeah, we're working very hard on the V1 setups. They're coming very, very soon. I've already got a few actually in my inbox, but we just need to make sure that they're fully ready to go. So yeah, that's it for me, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you guys tomorrow, early to mid-afternoon, for some Antonelli Korea for Challenge Tuesday. I'll read something on Twitch as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.